witnesses are put under police protection pending the High Court trial. But something goes badly wrong and they have to flee for their lives, never knowing who it's safe to trust.
Killing the Butterfly.
It was a winter Friday night in Edinburgh. I was alone. I was lost. I didn't know it. The rain was horizontal as I left the concert hall and headed for the underground car park. I was paying for my ticket when she approached me. She was tall, dark-haired and good-looking. I didn't know it then, but I'd be ready to die for her.
Excuse me, you don't have any change for the ticket machine, do you? Keeps rejecting my coins.
What do you need?
£2. These ones aren't working.
Well, if you give me that, and I'll give you this.
Okay, thanks. It likes your money.
So do I.
Thank you.
That's all right. Good night.
Good night.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'll get out your way.
But this is my way. My car's parked at the far end.
Oh, mine too. It's a wet night.
I noticed.
Bit cold.
Are you a weatherman?
On your knees! Please don't!
What's that?
What?
Over there. There's a man on the ground.
Where?
Wait. Get down.
Look at me! I'm the last person you'll ever see! I didn't mean it! Come on, Billy. You're wasting your time. Just tell us.
What's happening? Can you see it?
There's two men standing over him. They've got guns. Move in behind the car here.
I'm sorry, Con. You got out of hand. It was stupid. I'm sick of hearing you. I didn't think it through. God.
They've shot him.
Oh, God.
What did you do that for? Shut up, you. Let's go.
They're coming this way. Stay down. Hold close to me.
Are they gone?
I think so. Have you got a phone?
Yes.
Call the police. I'll...
Hello? Oh, come on, answer me.
Are you okay? There's blood everywhere. He's been shot in the head. Are you all right? Can you hear me?
Come on, answer. Yes, ambulance and police. Help, quick.
Oh, talk to me. Oh, what a mess. Where's your pulse?
A man's been shot. God, he's dying. What? Oh, the car park. Where?
It's Castle Terrace.
Castle Terrace. Level 3.
He's dead. It's murder.
It wasn't murder, Mr. Barker. It was an execution. I'm Detective Chief Inspector Catherine Mulhall, and this is Detective Sergeant Whitten. We'll be your smiling guides through the cesspit.
Do you know who they were?
Do you?
You got a good look?
It was dark, it was wet. They were a good bit away. Who was the man who died?
We'll concentrate on you for the moment. You're Tom Barker, you're 48, a librarian, and you live in Morningside Place.
Yes.
You've been at a concert in the Usher Hall.
Yes.
Alone?
Yes.
Do you always go alone, Mr. Barker?
Why?
We're establishing the facts.
The fact is I go alone.
Was it good?
Yes.
Tell me what happened after you left the Usher Hall.
I paid for my ticket at the car park. This woman's money wasn't going in the machine, so I gave her some coins, and then we walked towards our cars, and it happened.
What was the first thing you saw?
Well, I heard him first, the tall man. He said, "On your knees." I looked, and there was this guy kneeling on the ground, and there was a gun at his head. There was another man.
Did he have a gun?
Yes. The man on the ground was pleading, crying, saying he was sorry.
For what?
I don't know. He said something about not thinking it through. And then the tall man shot him. They walked past us and we called the police.
What did the tall man look like?
He was thin, dark-haired. I don't know. He was too far away. Aren't there CCTV cameras in the car park?
Oh, they're useless. When did you meet your companion?
I told you I gave her money for the ticket machine. I've never met her before.
All right, Mr. Barker. I want you to look at these photographs. Tell me if you recognise any of these men.
Do you know why he was murdered?
Just concentrate on the photographs for the moment, Mr. Barker. Any of these men?
You said it was an execution. You must have an idea who did it.
The 4 men on this page. Do you recognise any of them?
No. They called him by his name before they shot him. Billy.
Yeah, Billy Wilson. Small-time drug dealer with big plans. Do you recognise any of these men?
No.
These?
No.
And these?
No.
These?
No.
You're not helping me, Mr. Barker.
I want to know what the killing was about.
And then you'll decide whether to help us or not.
No.
No, you won't help us.
I want to know what I'm getting into.
You're not getting into anything. You're right in it. Wait here.
Hannah Baird's identified them.
And?
It's John Ingalls, aided and abetted by Andrew Lumsden.
How good is that? But we must have Barker's corroboration. Who is Hannah Baird?
She's unemployed. She was a PA with Compston the lawyers.
No connections?
None obvious. We'll check her out.
Do Compstons act for the Ingalls family?
No,
Have they ever?
not as far as we know.
Good. We'll take Mr. Barker on a little journey.
I sat in the back. DCI Catherine Mulhall drove, and her silent, desperate for a cigarette detective sergeant sat beside her, drumming his nicotine-stained fingers on the dashboard. The street lamps on the dual carriageway flickered yellow on his fingernails as we sped towards a housing scheme on the edge of the city. The area wasn't familiar to me.
Where's the woman from the car park?
She's opened up. She identified the men and she's giving a detailed statement at the station.
She remembers much more than you, Mr. Barker.
And that's strange, don't you think?
Where are we going?
To see a widow newly made.
It was Billy, lying on the slab.
I'm very sorry, Mrs. Wilson.
He was so peaceful. I'll never see him again.
I need to ask you some questions.
We were together since we were 16. Jordan, go and play through there.
When did you last speak to him?
I had a tea on the table at 5, but he never came home.
Did you call him?
I couldn't get him on his mobie, so I left a message saying I've had enough of you. I hadn't.
When did you last see him?
This morning. Jordan, your nan will get you your juice. Michelle, don't put your fingers in there. You'll get burnt.
What was he planning to do with his day?
You know what he did.
Confirm it for me, Mrs. Wilson.
He sold cannabis and coke.
And heroin.
No.
He did. On an industrial scale.
What does that mean?
He sold tons.
Did he fight?
He pleaded for his life.
Oh, he'd have been so scared. Billy.
He said something got out of hand.
The story of his life. Big plans.
Which were?
To stop dealing and get us a new life. I've 2 babies and no man. How are we gonna manage?
We drove back in silence, the smoker coughing and the radio crackling with news of assaults and mayhem in the land of the night.
How's she going to survive without her husband?
Compensation?
And her children?
They'll be in court in 10 years' time, and then they'll graduate to bigger and better criminal acts. Do you want me to keep you posted so you can come and watch?
We can put it in the diary.
Or you can help me stop the process.
You had no right to take me there.
Billy Wilson had a right to live, Mr. Barker, despite being a drug dealer. And everybody in this city has a right to live without fear.
She's right.
I'm always right. It comes with a job.
The tall man who fired the shots. He had a mark on his neck, a tattoo of some kind. I saw it when he turned.
What kind of tattoo?
Am I safe?
What do you mean?
If I saw something and I identify the killers, am I safe from them?
I give you my word.
Not enough.
Hold on. I'm going to pull in. Your life will change, but only for a time.
She's right.
And if we get these killers, many lives will be saved now and in the future. It'll take crime in Edinburgh apart.
How will my life change?
When you identify these men, they will want to stop you testifying.
You saw what happened to Billy Wilson.
We will have to move you out of Edinburgh till the case comes to court.
I have a job.
There'll be no problem. Your salary will continue and your employers will understand. We'll deal with that.
I take medication.
We'll see that you get it.
How long?
As long as it takes, but as quick as we can. I promise you we will protect you, and the Crown will do its utmost to bring the killers to court as quickly as possible. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I do.
1:25 a.m. Present DC Whitten, DCI Mulhall, and witness Thomas Barker.
I want you to go through the identified volumes of photographs, Mr. Barker, and tell us if you see the man who shot Billy Wilson and the man who was with him.
That's the man who shot Billy Wilson.
You sure?
Yes. He has a butterfly tattoo on his neck.
Can you read the number below the photograph, please?
4C. And that's his accomplice.
Number again, please.
5F.
Thank you.
Interview ended 1:26 a.m.
Wait here, Mr. Barker. DC Whitten will fix safe accommodation for tonight.
Cup of tea?
Oh, yes, please. The tea was foul, and so was the accommodation, on a dark and shady street somewhere on the west side of the city. As I entered, I caught a glimpse through a doorway of the woman from the car park. She was smoking. Her face seemed white. My room was small, the walls were bare, I couldn't sleep. When I closed my eyes, the dead man's face kept coming up to mine, and when I did drift, I dreamt of running and chases and guns. I got up. It was 3:20 in the morning. I went out the back door. The stars were shining bright in the bowl of a sky. I hadn't seen that for years. I hadn't been up at that time for years. She was standing there, smoking a cigarette.
Hi.
Hello. We're not supposed to speak.
Well, don't.
Sign language doesn't work in the dark. I'm Tom Barker.
Hannah Beard.
He was a drug dealer.
How do you know?
They took me to his home.
What for?
Well, they were putting pressure on me. I couldn't identify the two men.
You saw them as clear as me.
Well, I needed time to think of the consequences.
Well, here they are. And here we are. I identified them straight off. I did it without thinking. More fool me.
His name was Billy Wilson.
What kind of drugs?
Oh, the whole caboodle. Cocaine, cannabis and heroin.
The world's lost a great man.
He has 2 kids.
My heart bleeds. I've got a mortgage and no job, and now I'm out of the loop.
Well, not for long. We'll be back.
They never told me all this was going to happen.
It'll be fine. It'll be okay.
There's no end to your talents, Tom Barker.
Sorry?
Weatherman one day, clairvoyant the next.
DCI Mulhall came for me at dawn. The TVs seemed loud and big as we slipped through the airport.
2 arrests overnight amidst high security in Edinburgh in connection with the car park death of suspected drugs dealer Billy Wilson. One of the men is John Ingalls, who last year walked free from the High Court.
We were last on the plane, the two of us, and sat at the back.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Where's the other witness?
On a different plane.
Where will she go?
Somewhere else.
How is she?
You concentrate on what you saw, and that's enough.
That's it?
That's it.
Do I see her?
Not allowed.
And in court?
You'll give evidence from behind a screen. You are what we call vulnerable witnesses.
That's a comfort.
They will try and stop the trial. They will try and find you. But we'll keep you safe. This is my mobile number. If you need me any time, I'm here.
Thank you.
The king is dying, and his empire could crumble.
Old Man Ingalls, the man who controls every drug deal, every punishment beating, every disappearing trachea-clad hoodlum, has weeks to live. He has bowel cancer. He wants John to take over. But he's soft, though.
I didn't see that in him.
Oh, anyone is hard with a gun in their hand. He's a bully and a coward and a disappointment to his dad. So while there's doubt about his succession to the throne, others are gathering. They want the kingdom.
And we're in the game.
If we nail John Ingalls, they're finished. He's the only son. By the time he gets out, the Ingalls family will be history.
And after?
Well, peace for a while, till the next scum rises to the top. I could get a holiday. Go water skiing in Bermuda. Snowboarding on Kilimanjaro.
Oh, there's none. Global warming.
Well, I'll climb it then. It's there to be climbed.
I climbed it.
Kilimanjaro.
Oh, it was a long time ago.
Did you really?
No, I made it up to impress you.
A sarcastic man with hidden depths.
Kilimanjaro. Hidden heights.
So hidden you don't know they're there. I was scared and excited all in the same moment. I hadn't felt either in years, not since Edie left with the shopkeeper. I stopped feeling then, and time had gone. From Heathrow, an unmarked police car took us to a flat near Highbury Fields in North London. I was introduced to my minder, a shiny-shoed Met Police constable who was permanently bored with his life, and Mulhall left. 6 weeks passed in a fug of walking in the fields with shiny shoes, people coming from Scotland to check my statement, watching television and reading the papers. I didn't sleep. The headlines seemed full of gangland killings and revenge attacks and torture. There was a long piece in one of the Sundays about Old Man Ingalls, the tongue cutter they called him. Once he'd walked free from the High Court in Edinburgh, found not guilty of the killings of 2 informers, whose bodies had been found at dawn in the smashed window of a butcher's shop in Liberton. I was edgy. The sound of footsteps behind me in the street made me start and my heart pound. And if someone looked at me longer than I liked, I would think, is this it? Is this the moment I'm done? It was a Wednesday night just before 10 o'clock that Mulhall arrived to take me back north to court. She sat in the front. Shiny Shoes drove towards the airport for the plane to Edinburgh. I was nervous as we moved through the crowds coming from the new Arsenal Stadium.
Don't you know a quicker way?
I'm doing my best, boss. We're getting there. We've got loads of time.
You okay?
Oh, I'm fine. I've done this thousands of times.
I'd go easy on the sarcasm in the witness box. The judge isn't a fan, and the defence advocate will be going for you.
I know. I've read lots of trials.
But you haven't been in one. Hello, Whitten. Where? How? Okay. We'll be there as soon as we can. The other car's been involved in an accident. We'll need to pick up Hannah Baird. It's Shepherd's Bush.
On my way, boss.
We sped through London, weaving in and out of traffic, and at a junction we found the scene of the accident. The other car had been hit by a motorbike, whose rider had vanished. Whitten stayed with the injured driver and Hannah got in our car. Shiny Shoes eased us out into the traffic and we headed for Heathrow.
Are you okay?
I banged my head.
Oh, let me look. You're cut. Here's my hanky.
Take a left. We're being followed.
I've clocked him.
I'll call in. Take a right.
Who?
The black merc. He's closing. Hello?
Oh, he's hit us.
Hello? Damn. Hello? Oh, damn phones. Take left and take a right.
Okay, boss.
Hang on tight.
Hannah and I hung on in the back as the car swung right down a one-way street the wrong way.
The lorry! Hold tight. He's coming again. Get ready to brake.
Brake?
And once you do, and we've come to a halt, I want you to go again as fast as you can, okay?
Okay.
Ready? Brake. Now!
He slammed on the brakes, and the Merc hit us, jerking us forward.
Foot to floor!
A shiny shoe slammed the floor and we were off, gaining vital time on the following Merc. We hurtled through street after street. The streetlights were like a stroboscope.
Left now. And right.
We plunged round the corner into a pedestrian precinct and there was a dead end. Shiny shoes slammed on the brakes and we skidded. We came to rest in the window of a sandwich shop. Shiny Shoes was lying across the steering wheel. His head was at a funny angle. Mulhall was still and silent.
Are you okay?
Go! Let's go.
They're hurt.
Never mind, go! Come on!
We dived from the car as the Merc came careering round the corner and stopped. The doors opened. 2 men got out. We didn't wait to be introduced. We hurried through streets and lanes. The footsteps behind us were sometimes distant, sometimes close. I could have sworn I felt breath on my neck. Dogs barked. There was a smell of kebabs, and then petrol.
I can't go on.
Just keep going. Come on!
I'm going to stop.
We turned down a narrow lane behind a row of shops, and I pulled her through an open gate into a yard with a skip and rows of battered refuse bins. There was a broken window in a derelict building. We climbed inside. I dragged sopping tarpaulin over us, and we hid, scrunched up in a corner. Rats scurried and jumped on the floor above us. Shh! Don't move.
I'm not going to hurt you. I've got some questions. That's all.
The rats scattered and bits of plaster fell. We held our breaths.
They're not here. They must have gone on. If you go that way, I'll take the lanes.
We waited in the dark for ages, not speaking, not daring to breathe. The street lamp glow casting strange shadows into the derelict building. All was quiet. Let's go.
No.
We have to go now. It's our only chance.
You're not in charge.
I know. I'm just trying to get us there.
What you say isn't always right.
I know.
You keep saying you know, but you don't. You were wrong in Edinburgh, and you're wrong now.
Look, I just want to get us to Edinburgh. We can argue later.
They want to kill us.
We're not going to die.
Oh, says you.
What does that mean?
It means I'm scared.
And I'm not.
It's your fault I'm here.
How's it my fault?
If you hadn't been at the ticket machine, I'd have had to go to the attendant and get change, and I wouldn't have seen any of it.
So I'm to blame because I was there?
Yes.
I'm to blame because I had good manners and change?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
And what's this with good manners?
I have them. You don't.
If you had good manners, you'd stop trying to take charge.
If you were fit, we wouldn't have to hide in here. Look, they expect us to go to the airport.
Stop saying look, I can see.
Okay. They expect us to go to the airport, so we'll go to the station. They'll expect us to want police help, so we won't take it.
Why not?
It could be one of them tipping off the Ingalls.
They know what we look like.
They don't. And we can change.
You go on, I'm not going. I can walk away now.
Where to?
A police station.
You're not safe there.
We're not safe here.
We can get out of London if we work together.
You don't need me.
I do. You got us out of the car when I was still faffing around. Look, you've got loads I haven't got. You're sharp, you're brave, and you make quick decisions.
Don't stop.
We've got a head start. We've got a chance if we get the sleeper. It's our only shot. Please.
Okay, let's go.
We moved carefully back into the lane. It was cold as we edged through the shadows to the light of the main road. There was a taxi at the traffic lights. We grabbed it and headed for Euston. We entered the station separately. There were a couple of police officers patrolling. We didn't need them. Not if I could help it. They're strange, the feelings that come at you. I'd lived my life for years without ever thinking, will I survive the night? Now that was here, and I was elated. I got cash from the cash machine, and Hannah waited in a station bar, while I bought 2 tickets for the sleeper to Edinburgh. No credit cards. I didn't want us traced. I didn't want anyone to know our names. I kept my head down as I walked into the bar. It was ropey and smelt of urine, stale beer and cigarettes. Hannah was sitting at the back near the toilets.
Here's your ticket. Now, we're sharing a cabin, but we'll board separately. We've got 5 minutes before the train opens.
For the first time, I saw Hannah's face really close up. She had the brownest eyes. I took off my jacket and left it on a chair. I put my wallet in my trousers and I rolled up my shirt sleeves.
It's cold, but I'll look different. You should do the same.
You see the woman at the bar?
With hair?
With a wig.
How do you know it's a wig?
Does it matter right now?
No.
Okay. There's a coat on the chair beside her. I'm taking it. It's long and it's different to what I'm wearing.
It's stealing.
It's available.
Well, you can't just walk up and steal it.
I'm not doing it alone. You create a disturbance, I'll lift the coat and I'll meet you on the train.
How do I create a disturbance?
Improvise.
What do I say?
Use your charm. I'll think of something. Okay.
Hannah stood up. I took my drink and walked to the bar. I edged in beside the wig, who was perched on a high stool.
It's a cold night.
You talking to me?
I am.
I don't get off on strangers.
Well, we could be friends. I'm a friendly guy.
If you're gonna talk, mine's a double brandy.
I waved my hand in acknowledgement, the one with the drink in it, and it splashed all over her dress. She was furious and swore at me, and in the mirror above the bar, I saw Hannah lift the coat and slip it on as she left the bar. I bought the wig a double brandy in compensation, then another to keep her going, made an excuse about needing the toilet, and headed out to the platform. In a strange way, it was exhilarating. I'd never been involved in theft before, or been hunted. I liked the adrenaline rush, and that was weird. I was angry. The police had promised to protect us, and yet, whether by accident or design, it was them who'd put us where we were now. I walked up the platform towards the sleeper, and God came into my life.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Not now.
There's no time like the present.
No thanks.
Are you ready to meet your maker?
Not tonight.
You can hurry.
I am.
But you can't hide.
Oh, I intend to.
Please, take one of these. It's a trap.
No thanks.
I will pray for you.
I'll need it.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
May I see your ticket, please?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Code C, that's this one just here. Berth 7. Right, thank you. Tea or coffee in the morning, sir?
Coffee, please.
The lounge car's up that way. It's a bit lively tonight, bit of a party.
I wasn't in a party mood. I made my way along the corridor and found our compartment. I locked the door behind us. Hannah had pulled down the blind.
Did anyone follow you on?
No, I don't think so. But how would I know?
Are you okay?
Well, you know, 2 car crashes, being shot at. Just an ordinary day.
We're in here together and we'll get there. We'll be fine.
I put the light off. The train jolted and slowly began to move. I lifted the edge of the blind and saw 2 police officers watching idly from the platform. I sat back on the lower bunk, and Hannah's hair brushed against my face in the dark.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm shaking. I feel my hands.
Oh, you're cold.
You can let go now. I'm sorry about saying it's your fault.
Oh, that's okay. It's yours anyway. A joke alert.
Speak to me.
About what?
Anything. Take my mind off this.
I like your coat.
Very funny. Your chat out louds are rubbish.
Meaning?
I heard your effort to the wig.
What about it?
Your old weatherman routine.
Well, I wasn't going to say I like the wig.
It was impressive. You could sell tickets for it.
It worked, though.
I know. Thank you.
What you been doing these past few weeks?
Worrying myself sick.
I've been listening to London. Sirens, a drunken fight, a snatch of Irish song. A boombox somewhere on Highbury Fields.
Boombox, listen to you.
I like music, and I read. I read when I should be working.
I'll test you sometime.
Well, test me now. I've got time. I My belly button is completely fluff-free. I'm ready.
Name?
Tom Barker.
Occupation? Oh, you said weatherman, clairvoyant...
Librarian.
Librarian?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I've never met a librarian.
What, not even in a library?
Not mates. Is it boring?
Well, it was great, and I loved it till this pimply squirt who'd swallowed a book on theory was promoted above me. Now I keep my head down. I don't get involved.
At least you've got a job. I lost mine when they downsized. I was a PA.
Now you're lowercase.
That's good. I like that. Chosen subject?
Esoteric nonsense.
Oh, okay. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
49.
49 for what?
Oh, you didn't say there were supplementaries.
It's not a supplementary, it's a question of quantity.
49's the quantity.
You always like this.
I'm always me.
Question 2.
You've had 2. This is 3.
Oh, picky as well. I'm getting to know you.
And I'm getting to know that you're floundering with questions.
I am not.
Okay, I was just testing.
Question 3 for Mr. Pedantic.
Ready and waiting.
What do you want a question on?
Anything at all. Misspent years in libraries have given me a wide range of information. Some useful, some useless. I know about internal combustion, the individual statistics of Cuban baseball players, oh, and how to kill a man in an interesting variety of ways.
Do you?
Oh, I do. Pressure points in arteries and killer blows.
That might be handy.
We're okay. We're fine. We're safe. We're gone.
She lifted the window blind, and there in the dark, snowflakes were starting to fall. It was night. We rattled north.
When the police interviewed you...
What about it?
I couldn't remember things I had said, so they had to remind me.
From the car park?
About the men.
Oh, I remember them clearly. I haven't slept, and they've been there when I shut my eyes. John Ingalls with his butterfly tattoo.
Did they show you photographs before you remembered?
Yes. Why?
It was that sequence that threw me. What if I was convicting the wrong men?
We're not. They're after us now. Let's not talk about this. Where were you in London?
Near a park.
Trees.
Why?
Oh, I love that sound. The wind blowing in the trees.
Me too. The wind blew in the trees outside my window when I was growing up in Churchill.
Oh, that's close to me. I'm Morningside Place.
When I was small, my dad would always say he was going to chop them down because they ruined the view of the Pentland Hills. But he never did. In winter, when the branches were bare, I could see Kirketton and Allermere. They changed colour all the time.
Oh, that's my favourite ridge. You walk along the top there with the city spread before you. There's a cairn there. I call it Inspiration Point.
A romantic?
Oh, I used to be. You?
I never fell in love. Well, once.
What happened?
He didn't love me. I discovered.
And since then you've been embittered and lacerate people with your sharp tongue.
Beg your pardon?
See?
What's your excuse?
I was married for 25 years. She walked out the door with a guy who ran a shop.
Maggie? Maggie, you in there?
She's not. Wrong cabin.
Oh, sorry. Very sorry. I beg your pardon.
I need the loo.
Oh, can't it wait?
Yeah, no problem. I'll just hold on till Edinburgh. My willpower's not that strong.
Oh, I thought you could hold it in until Inverness.
What are you getting at me for?
I'm not.
Inverness is a very long way.
All right. All right, I'll come with you. I'll stand off you.
What, like a ship?
Like someone watching out for you. If you use the loo next to the bar, I'll keep watch and I'll get us a drink.
Is that safe?
Well, I think we'll be okay. I'll just be a guy on his own. What do you want?
A very large gin and tonic.
I waited till she was in the loo, and then walked carefully into the bar.
Excuse me. Excuse me! Barman! Barman!
Oh, sorry, I splashed your shirt.
Oh, it's okay.
Here, let me wipe it.
It's okay.
No, I'll do it. It was my fault.
I said it's okay.
It was an accident. You seem rather upset.
Well, that's because I am. Barman!
Can I buy you a drink, mate? As an apology.
I'm okay, thanks.
Oh, go on. Just a little drink.
I'm okay.
Oh, go on. Just a little drink.
I said.
Oh, go on. You will, you will, you will, you will.
Listen, I came through here to get a drink, end of story.
Hey, Tony Soprano, that's good.
Just go away.
Okay. Keep cool, mate.
Barman, a large gin and tonic and a mineral water. And I am not your mate.
The driver's in intensive care, sir, and DCI Mulhall still unconscious. Yes. We're hunting, but there's no telling, sir. They could be anywhere, sir. Yes, sir, I will. As soon as I can, sir.
I had to move from my new mate, who was trying to suggest I join the party. Hannah took ages to come out of the loo, and I was lurking in the corridor when someone tapped me on the shoulder.
What? Oh, sorry, sir. Didn't mean to make it jump. Just wending my way through.
What time do we get to Edinburgh?
Should be not long after 6 a.m, sir.
Do we have any stops?
First one shortly, sir, is Watford, and then Crewe and Preston.
Do passengers get on?
At Watford, sir, if there are any.
Thank you. He watched me as he walked away. He kept turning his head to look at me standing there. I felt compelled to move back to the berth. There I waited, and eventually she came.
Where did you go to? I thought you were waiting.
I had to move. You took your time.
Oh, the loo police now.
Did you talk to anyone?
No. I was alone in the toilet, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here's your drink.
Oh, thank you. Is that all you're drinking?
We need to keep our wits about us.
I'll keep my own wits, thank you.
Is everything I say a challenge to you? It's knackering, but just think it, don't say it. I'll avoid a migraine.
God, you're prickly.
Thank you.
This seems the wrong word, but cheers.
Cheers.
Do you mind if I smoke?
Well...
Oh, well, too bad. I need to smoke.
That's why you can't run.
You're Mr. Lightning Feet.
I used to smoke years ago. I miss the smell and the taste.
Why'd you stop?
Health, breath, and nicotine-stained fingers. And when I got into climbing, I got fit. I'm not so fit now. You ever climb?
No. You do hill walking?
No, mountains. I loved it. Get to the top and you're in the lap of the universe. There's no feeling like it. On top of the world and in the world.
Why'd you stop?
Edie didn't like it. I got out the habit.
I climbed a Monroe thingy once. It was cold. I don't remember anymore. The car park.
Well, you're shaking about a bit.
Do you remember clearly?
Yes, I do.
I don't. I can't see faces, remember clothes, heights, anything.
You will.
How are they going to protect us afterwards if they can't do it now?
Well, we'll worry about that once we're through this. It'll be okay.
Keeping on saying it doesn't make it okay.
I'm prickly.
You think I am?
I know you are. Look, can we stop this? I'm just trying to make it feel okay.
There was a piece in the paper.
I saw it. Tongues and butcher shop windows.
What are you thinking?
I like my tongue. Do you have a partner? Family?
No partner. My parents are in Lancashire. They know I'm safe.
I have a daughter. She's in Australia.
Your wife?
I don't know, don't care.
Didn't you love her?
I did, but now she's not here.
Closed book.
No, I'm open.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Tell me what you like.
Fish and chips and newspaper on a wet and windy Edinburgh night. Walking up the road in the sauce warm coming through the paper onto my hands.
No, I meant love.
I love books.
Oh, you're hopeless.
I've always been that.
I'm waiting.
I love the music of Tom Waits, Elgar and Sam Cooke. I love holding hands and touching skin and walking close with someone I love. I love my daughter, but she went away. I love my parents and my dog, but he died. I loved my job, but they changed it and brought in all this managerial rubbish. I loved the sea, but they poisoned it.
So everything you loved went and changed on you?
I think I just got lost for a while. What do you love?
Hot dogs, candy floss, party poppers, spooning, beaches, and gin. And dreaming of a new life.
That's what Billy Wilson wanted.
He was a drug dealer. He got what he deserved. You know we'll have to keep moving once we give evidence.
Well, they won't know us. We're giving evidence from behind a screen.
I don't think that will stop them. Speak to me. Tell me a story.
The butterfly tattoo on the gunman's neck.
I saw it.
It was a strange thing to have.
On a man like him.
You know the story of the boy and the butterfly? He was 7 and he was playing in the garden with a cane, sword fighting, pirating. He saw a butterfly and he followed its flight in the sun as it flitted in the warm air. It settled in a bush and he watched it, its delicate wings sitting motionless in the sunlight. Without thinking, he swung the cane at it and he killed it. And when he saw its broken wings like scattered bits of paper, he felt a dread spreading through him. He knew then the difference between good and evil. What we saw in that car park was evil.
Tell me a story about good.
I don't have one right now.
We're slowing.
Watford.
I lifted the blind and looked out the window. No one on the platform that I could see. No one getting on or off. Snow was falling thicker. The world seemed still. Expectant.
No one?
No one.
Some drug dealer died, so what?
I know.
Some thug killed a thug who'd caused countless misery to people I don't even know and don't care about. Why are we in this?
We were there.
We could just not remember.
And then what?
We walk away. We'll be safe, so you say.
Well, what about the others who'll die in the months to come?
That's what the police told you. They just want a conviction and we're in the middle of it.
So you're saying don't testify as if that will get us out of this?
The train jolted again, and we rolled north.
I want to go home and have my own life back.
Hello? I'm looking for my fiancée.
Be still.
Hello? I'm looking for my fiancée. I completely lost my bearings.
I've already told you she's not here.
Oh, sorry. Very sorry to have bothered you.
Gone.
Are you sure?
I'll just check.
I've been looking for you.
Standing facing me was a man. His face was familiar, and my heart sank.
Are you ready to meet your maker? You can hurry, but you can't hide.
Hidden by his coat, he had a gun in his hand.
Inside, now.
He nudged me inside, and he closed the door behind him.
Who are you?
You know.
The man with the tracts.
Observant, but not observant enough. You thought I was a head case and that's all you saw. If you'd looked, you might have seen more. I've been following you since you ran from the car. I lost you in the alleys, but I knew where to go. I accepted loads of tracks from God's Envoy outside Euston, and I watched. And I waited. Prayer works. It didn't take long to show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, I'm not some bureaucrat masquerading as a law enforcer. I'm a professional. I knew I'd find you, and find you I did. I just had to get inside your head. Shirt sleeves on a cold night. That stood out.
Who are you? What is this?
It doesn't matter who I am. I'm doing my job. I've come for you.
I don't know what this is about.
She does. Tell him.
No.
Go on. Speak.
He was at the airport.
When?
We bumped into each other.
I had to go to the loo. The WPC was waiting at the hand dryer. I was coming out when...
I bumped into her.
I felt his hand in my pocket. It was a piece of paper.
Saying what?
With a number. I knew it was her. I watched her. Her plane was delayed. Bad weather's a blessing sometimes. I met her again in London, in the supermarket.
He was there. I looked up when we were shopping and he was looking down at me from the mirror.
All that stuff about not remembering. It was a lie.
I was scared.
You'd every right to be. You, sit there on the sink.
I sat down on the sink.
I said phone me if you want to talk, but you never did. So now I've got a proposition for you, and I want you to listen very carefully, okay?
We're not testifying.
That doesn't matter to me. I want you to listen. I've been hired by the Ingalls to stop you testifying, to kill you if need be, and I'll do that if I have to. It's my job, and I'm good. But there are other parties involved now, and I'm wearing two hats if you like, so listen. John Ingalls is dumb, and he has a temper. So dumb that when he killed Billy Wilson in the car park in front of you, he neglected something. Something very big, which has implications for everyone involved in this sorry mess. You with me so far?
Yes.
You?
Yes!
Don't raise your voice to me, okay?
I'm sorry.
Billy Wilson. Drug dealer. Dream arrest his soul had just been promoted. He was put in charge of imports and selling the drugs on. There was a shipment of cannabis landed on the west coast from a fishing boat which had sailed out of Morocco. It had the street value of £250,000. He took the bulk of that shipment to Edinburgh. For the rest he sold to Manchester and Newcastle. He had £200,000 on him and he decided to steal it. He was intending, we think, to take the early train to London, but they were too quick. John Ingalls was dispatched to get him and the money. But he screwed up. He shot him. And what I'm thinking, and other interested parties are thinking, is that Billy Wilson, in the moments before he died, must have said where the money was. Otherwise, John Ingalls is dumber than dumb. We know Billy was making his mark, but £200,000 is a new start. Well?
There was... the shot? Just the one shot?
He was pleading.
That's all.
Oh, not good enough.
He pressed the gun to the side of my head.
Start remembering, both of you.
Hannah lit a cigarette.
He was just pleading.
Saying he was sorry.
Think there must have been more.
I can't think.
I can't think like this.
Okay.
Can you remember?
He said, I'm sorry it got out of hand.
There was something else before the shot was fired.
Tell me what it was, and I'll walk out of here, and you'll walk out of here. 200,000 for me. I'm only being paid 20,000 for you two. And if you testify, they're finished anyway. So speak. This is your one and only chance.
There was a word, a phrase. Morton Hall!
What's that?
Can I have a drag of that?
Here. It's a place on the south side.
More.
It's a caravan park, an estate.
Too vague. Stop that, will you? Ah!
I stabbed the burning cigarette into his ear, and his gun went off. I punched him, but he was strong. He still had a grip of the gun. He was against the wall, and I had his throat.
Run!
We ran, out the door and along the corridor. The party in the lounge car was even louder than before.
Through this... Excuse me, excuse me!
Run, faster!
If it isn't by me...
Look, I'm sorry about earlier.
Your man left his manners in London.
We're in trouble.
So am I. I've had 8 months.
Serious trouble. Listen to me.
I'm all ears, like the cornfield said. Hey, thank you, Papa.
We're witnesses. There's someone after us.
Oh, go on. You're the main show. You've run away, eloped. I'll tell you something, this train doesn't go to Gretna.
Hannah suddenly grabbed him, shouting.
Dance!
Absolutely!
And they swung into a dance, crashing away across the floor, knocking into a table as they went. All the faces in the bar seemed red with drink, and through the door at the far side of the lounge car came the man with the gun. Hannah was wheeling round as the gunman tried to squeeze his way towards her. I dodged in amongst people. He was trying to fix me in amongst the crowd. It was mayhem. I knew I had to be quick when the dance ended. The gunman moved slowly but surely towards me as the singing subsided. I grabbed Hannah by the wrist. I pulled her to me.
Listen, everyone!
No! You listen! Ziggy Zimba, 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 Ziggy Zimba, Zimba, hey! Ziggy Zimba, Zimba, Zimba.
I pointed at the gunman.
He's a good singer.
Who?
I can't sing, but this man does.
Go on then, give us a song.
Tell me, Ma!
Listen.
Yes, 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 yes.
I'll start it off. Oh, tell me, Ma, when I get home, the boys won't leave the girls alone.
Excellent, sing!
Come on! They pull my hair, they steal my comb. Oh, tell me, Ma, when I get home, she is handsome, she is pretty.
Go on, you will, you will, you will, you
Get your hands off me, piece of face!
Oh. She is the belle of Belfast City. She is caught in 1, 2.
It was the hardest punch I could, and he went backwards into the crowd. I ran. Hannah followed. We ran along the corridor through carriage after carriage.
Come on!
My heel!
Kick your shoes off!
Door followed door followed door. I looked back and he was coming behind us. We were at the guard's booth. Hannah stepped inside it.
What are these buttons?
Press them all. I don't know. The phone, there! Yell to the driver!
Driver, help!
Hit the buttons!
The gunman was there, and he smiled.
Stop the train!
You! Over here!
But creeping up slowly behind him was Andrew, the worst singer in the world, who grabbed him by the neck and shook him against the wall.
I am not a pizza face!
Suddenly, the train slowed rapidly, brakes squealing, and we were all thrown to the floor.
The doors!
She banged the buttons for the doors. I pushed my way out after her, and we jumped from the train. It was a big jump, and I rolled and tumbled in the snow, down a slope, sliding and slipping like it would never end. It did, but with a clunk, and I lay there for a moment. The stars above me, and the sound of rushing water far below. I heard Hannah's breathing.
You okay?
I've hurt my leg.
Come on!
I helped her up. The snow was lying thick on the hill, and we moved as quickly as we could. The train sat up on the railway behind us, and I could make out a shadowy figure coming on after us. We climbed a fence and into a field.
Come on!
I can't!
All these fags. Promise me you'll give up smoking.
I will.
We climbed higher and higher, reached a ridge and scurried along it. The sound of rushing water far below on one side of the ridge. The figure behind us dropped out of sight, and we walked and ran. There were no houses in sight, no lights from welcoming farmhouses.
I have to stop.
We've got to keep going.
I have to stop.
We've lost them.
No, you haven't.
He was standing in front of us, with the gun.
Both of you, step closer.
Leave her.
Please.
Both of you, step towards me.
The police are on their way. I called them.
I'm scared. Do what you're told.
I took a step towards him. I didn't care now. I was alive. I had someone with me.
Both of you.
I'm not scared of you.
You ought to be.
The bullet nicked my arm, and in that moment Hannah took a step towards him. He swung to aim at her, but tottered on the ridge. Taking a step back to right himself, he started to slide from our view. He yelled as he went, and when we looked over, he was 10 yards below us, clinging onto a bush. Far below him, in a dizzy, sick-making drop, the river rushed down from the hill.
Help me! Please!
God!
Please!
We watched as his fingers lost their grip. I could have helped, but I knew it was a good and decent thing not to act. I knew the difference between good and evil. And then suddenly, quietly, he dropped from view far into the distance and was no more. I sat down in the snow and Hannah sat beside me. I hugged her and she held me tight. The stars above us, the white snow all around. 2 men were dead, but I felt truly alive.
We're okay. We're okay.
You're hurt.
Oh, I'm okay.
I was okay. At the train, the local police arrived and alerted Lothian and Borders officers. After a visit for patching and casualty, we were driven to Edinburgh through the night. I didn't see Hannah after that.
Court.
I gave my evidence clearly and firmly from behind the screen, telling them all about the butterfly tattoo and the precise words that were used. Ingalls said in court the gun had gone off by accident, but the jury didn't believe him. The money turned up inside a locker at Waverley Station.
The end of a crime dynasty. John Ingalls, jailed for life on the morning of his father's death, and a man found dead in the north of England after an incident at a remote farm, is believed to be Matthew Connolly, who was wanted in connection with a number of gangland deaths.
We were whisked away separately from the High Court. I resumed my job putting up with life-denying jargon, but it didn't get to me like it did before. I had changed. I started walking the Pentland Hills. Mountains were next. I thought about Hannah and looked for her, but couldn't find her on Lothian Road, in Church Hill, even in the car park where it all began. DCI Catherine Mulhall came to see me at my work.
I wanted to say thank you for what you did. One big chapter closed. Are you okay?
I'm fine. How are you?
Back on my feet again. Broken bones mending. No visible damage.
Have you spoken to Hannah?
Well, I'm seeing her tomorrow.
Can you give me her number?
I can't. Data protection.
You owe me.
I'm sorry.
Okay. When you see her, will you tell her something?
Go on.
Inspiration Point.
Inspiration Point.
9 a.m. Sunday. She'll know. That Sunday morning, when Frost was on the hill, I was there early, and this familiar shape came walking towards me at the cairn.
Hello, Tom Barker.
Hello, coat lady.
Done any smoking recently?
None that you'd notice. I've been looking for you.
Where?
Everywhere. Glad you're here.
Well, what's the weather going to be like?
The outlook is... sunny.
I'm glad the clairvoyancy hasn't left you. Got any good stories?
It's a short one. Just 3 words. I met you.
Well, did I ever tell you I love Tom Waite? And Sam Cooke?
What about Elgar?
I could give him a try.
I could help you.
I'd like that.
Walk?
Walk.
In Killing the Butterfly, Tom was played by Simon Tate and Hannah by Vicky Liddell. The hitman was played by John Paul Hurley, DCI Mulhall by Gayan Potter, D.S. Whitten by James Bryce, Andrew the Drunk by Kenny Blythe, and Mrs. Wilson by Laura Smales. Other parts were played by members of the cast. Killing the Butterfly was written by Colin MacDonald and produced by Patrick Rayner.
Fit Up. 2 boys from the same background grow up together and become inseparable. But something causes a split and their lives take parallel, but very different paths.
Fit Up by Peter Simpkin, with Ray Brooks and Billy Murray.
Statement of Simon Mount, age 29, date of birth 18/8/54. Oh, the big one next year. Occupation, Detective Sergeant. 514/J7041. Address, etc., etc. Dated this... Trev? What's today?
Monday. Yeah, Monday. Yesterday was Sunday.
The date, you Bert.
28.
28th. Now, let's try and decipher this junk. On Friday the 13th... No wonder. 1982, at approximately 5:30 a.m., I was on patrol with Detective Inspector Bull and Detective Constable 192 J. Simpson in an unmarked police vehicle. As we were proceeding along...
Did your mum give you that sixpence tell for the chips? Nah, not till I get the shopping. Gives a pass. You got any money, Mike? Nah, me dad's gone off again. Hey, Miss Jones reckons we get a week off for the coronation. Here's a Stanley Matthews pass. She says we'll have a party and games. We'll have all the food, all the drink, and everything.
Oi, you two, clear off unless you
What
want
are you
to
going to do if we don't?
I'll be round to see your dad, that's what.
Shut up, Baldy.
Right.
Come and tell one. sod. Can I have fun, though? Hey, it's my birthday next week. I know that's stupid. Oh, of course. You're the same day as me. What are you getting? I don't know. I wanted a bike. Two-wheeler. They said Tim's too young. I'll get nothing now me dad's gone, except clips around the ear. Me mum gets funny when he goes. Hey, do you want a bike for nothing? We'll have to get out in the night, late. Nick it, you mean? You scared? No, of course I'm not. But I mean, where can we keep it? I know where. We'll do it tonight.
Right. Let's start again. No funnies this time.
I want my brief.
Listen, big mouth.
Oh, go and get some tea, will you, Jimmy?
Oh, right, Gov.
He thinks you're going to hammer me. No witnesses.
I just might.
Nah, it's not your scene. You know I've been fitted up, don't you?
No, I don't. Who boy?
One of your heavies upstairs, a super.
Gates?
Yeah, Mr. Gates.
Why?
He thought I was on a bank blag in 78 before you come here. But he couldn't prove it. No evidence offered.
You're a bloody fool, you know.
I'm the one with the roller and the 100 grand house in deepest Essex. What do you got?
An ulcer and a mortgage I can't afford.
Oh, you after a bung, are you?
I didn't hear that.
Crying all the time.
No, I don't rate Elvis's voice. Oi, yours.
Elvis? He's the greatest. The king.
Nah, Bill Haley. See you later, alligator.
I'll bet you 2 and 6. This time next year, Elvis is the top of the hit parade.
All right. August the 2nd, 1959. I say Presley won't be top. Oi, what about those two over there?
Which one's mine, mate? The one smoking?
Wait, don't stare, Tell. No, not her, the other one.
Ah, the one with the beehive.
Yeah, the blonde one. The other one goes to that private posh school with the uniforms. She's a goer.
Oh, yeah, how do you know?
Brian. She let Brian touch her.
So?
On her skin.
No. Where?
Well, the pictures.
No, I meant above or below.
Oh, shut up.
Got a light, please?
Sorry, I haven't.
Come on, Carol.
Fancy a coffee?
Are you buying?
Yeah. Sit down.
Do you come here often?
Only in the mating season.
Oh, come on, Carol. I'm waiting for my coffee, Anita.
I'm sorry about my friend's jokes. What school do you go to?
Why?
Oh, I just wondered.
Your friend doesn't say much.
No, I can't tell. Let's go.
Oh, he said 4 words. He's practising for Wilfred Pickles. Have a go.
Have you seen Jailhouse Rock yet?
Why, are you in it?
Oi, Terry, I'm going. Are you coming or what?
Oh, their mum told them to be home by 10. Oh, sweet.
Yeah, what did you ruin it for? I was doing all right.
Slags.
Got any money?
Not yet.
What do you mean?
I will have soon.
Where are we going, Mike?
Down here.
Yeah, but why?
Langdell lives down here.
So what? Mike, I know you. He's our headmaster. We can't...
So what? He hates me. He keeps money in his car on the shelf under the windscreen. In that little box thing with his maps.
Look, Mike, I don't want... Look, we've got leaving exams.
Here, give us that brick. You
Mike,
won't pass anyway.
Mike, you're mad. Don't.
No! Look, I said yes. They won't catch us. Ready? Got it. Come on, split up. I'll meet you at the youth club later.
So, you don't know how the shooter's got in your car?
You owe me one.
Yeah, I know. But this is serious, shooters.
Look, they were planted. Your super fixed me up. You know me. No guns.
We'll see. If the report comes back from the lab positive, there's nothing I can do. If your fingerprints are on
They
it...
won't. You idiot. Look, can you have it dropped out completely?
No, I'll have a word with Gates after I get the report. But he'll want something.
Oh, how much?
No, not that. He's straight.
Straight? He's just stitched me up with this. He's as bent as a 3-bob bit.
I meant dropsy, he won't. He'll want bodies, names, places.
Well, that's all right. I can put a few numbers in the frame.
Hey, how's your missus?
I tell you, I couldn't afford to go straight with her, Tony.
D.I. Bull. Yeah. Okay. You what? Thank you very much.
Birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you.
Well, happy birthday, Tom. Happy birthday, Mike.
Be careful, lads. Come on.
What you having? That little redhead, if I'm lucky. No, let me get him as you're broke. Tom. Oh, you haven't got a job. Where'd you get all that loot? God, what a bundle. Don't ask questions and you won't hear lies. Here, I'll see you in a minute. I'm just going to see a little redhead about a you-know-what.
This is my mate, Terry. Terry, this is...
Marilyn, and this is Sue.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hey, where you going? The bus stop's over here.
My car.
Yeah, come on, Till. Joke's over. We'll miss the
It's
bus.
cold. Stop mucking about, you two.
Anyway, it's too small.
Don't be personal. Do you like it, mate?
Look, Terry, it's cold. I'm getting wet.
All right. Come on, girls. We'll go on our own.
Where did you get a brand new Sunbeam Alpine from?
It's not new. It's 2 months old. You go in the back, Marilyn. It's a birthday present. You'll have to sit on my mate's knee.
I think I'll walk, thank you.
Suit yourself, Susie. Birthday present, who?
Me to myself.
Holloway Road at the junction of... Phil, what's that road called by McDonald's in Holloway Road?
Holloway Road? You've got an A to Z.
Thank you. When I saw a Ford Estate pull up, I saw a man I now know to be Alex Rose walk to the front door of number 47.
Here, Simon.
Yeah?
Why aren't there any taxis in Belfast?
Look, I've got this... I don't know, aren't there?
They can't find anyone to pass the knowledge.
Number 47. He appeared to ring on the bell. After
Here, Simon. What's the difference between her...
Herpes and true love. Herpes lasts forever. I've heard it.
Well, no prince.
No. You're lucky.
I told you. Have a word with Gates.
Look, there's still a small matter of the coke.
I'm not into that rubbish. Drugs aren't my scene. You know it's a stitch-up. Shooters and dope of all the things I'm not into.
Yeah, all right. I'll have a word with Gates. You want to come see?
You're joking. I'd rather drink Paraquat. I'll have a couple of fags, though.
I won't say I enjoyed the ride. See ya.
Your charm didn't seem to work on her, Mike. Northern slag.
Do you mind? She's a friend of mine.
Yeah, can I have a drive, Till? Oh, I don't know. You've had a few. You chicken.
Oh, don't, Terry.
Ah, go on then. Here, swap seats. Yeah, take it easy, though. Do you want to come in the front, Marilyn?
No, thank you.
Go on, give him a thrill.
You just concentrate on your driving.
Let's have some music.
And now, Radio Luxembourg's Top 10. At number 1 and the biggest hit of 1960 so far is Apache.
Terry, are you two really hairdressers?
No, love. I'm a self-employed sort of second-hand dealer.
What, a scrap merchant? You told me you worked up west for Teasy Weezy.
No, not scrap. Just things.
You're a tea leaf, and him as well.
Him? No, he's a trainee PC plot.
Yeah, and I'm Marilyn Monroe's sister.
Take it easy, mate. You got a big mouth, Till. Go on, show her your card. He's got a little card with his name and a picture on it. He's a cadet at Hendon. My best mate, a copper.
What's your name, Dixon?
Yeah, get off, Till. Don't get your hand out. Go on, let me show Marilyn. Here.
Let's see.
Give us the ear, you cow. Mike, look out! Mike! My legs! Oh, my legs! Marilyn, you alright? Oh, my God. Mike! Mike, where are you going? Can't leave us.
I'm gonna get help. Is the car nicked?
What do you think?
I wasn't here, right, Tel?
You bastard.
I phoned for help, but I wasn't here, right? Don't grass on me.
Come. Oh, Mike, come in. Well?
Well, Governor, the lab cocked it up. Somebody thought the gun had been tested, so they picked it up.
Forensics a joke. Oh, well, we got him for possession.
Governor, he reckons he was fitted up.
Oh, don't they all? And?
He reckons you, well, somebody here.
Well, how original. Charge him.
Look, Governor, a suggestion. Look, he's got the best brief in London, Greenway. You know what that means.
You mean bent brief? He'll get off.
Yeah. You know the score with Marcus. He's never been put away for anything. He's got no track record, officially.
But he's the biggest villain in North London. You know that, and I know that. There is something on file. The small matter of...
Yeah, when he was a kid. I reckon he was stitched up on this one. It's not his scene, guns and drugs.
Are you suggesting I stitched
No,
him
of course not, Gov. I reckon he was, though. Well, probably one of his competitors. Look, I reckon I could get some slags put away with his help.
No, it's too dicey. He'll put some names up places, and if the jobs don't happen, what then?
But what if he gives us names for previous jobs?
See what he comes up with. No promises, and they have to be big.
You'd better not say anything till your brief gets here.
You're joking. You said it'll be all
I
right.
tried. It's not down to me, the super... Unless, of
Yeah?
course... Well, he doesn't want fairy tales. He won't buy it. That is, unless you...
Unless?
I reckon if you give me some names, blags that have already gone down...
I'm not a grass, you know that.
I know. But just once, do yourself a favour. Somebody set you up. I don't reckon it was us. Return the favour. Think about it. Somebody who you know personally. Perhaps who knows where...
You sure it wasn't your lot?
Not 100%, no. But somehow...
Yeah, son, all right. I know, I've just tweaked. No comeback.
Information received. As long as I've got evidence, hard evidence.
Yeah. Gold hard, like bullion.
Jack Street? Norman Jenkins?
Oh, joking, Jenkins, leave it out. But it was Jack Street.
Not our Norm?
No, there's a ship moored by the tower in that marina. A sail ship, it's called something girl, his girl, pretty girl, something like that. It belongs to Jimmy Jones.
Jones? The city whiz kid?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Well, you better. It's painted with metal paint, the gold, so it looks rusty, in the bottom of the ship.
Ballast, of course. Ocean-going racing?
Yeah. Does that leave me out?
I can't promise, but if you're not home for your tea, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, there were some really good bargains. OK, I'll see you in the Brent Cross car park. Right, bye.
Hello, love.
Hi there.
Spending our overdraft again?
You look happy?
Yeah, I'm quite chuffed.
Would it be anything to do with that package that I found
Package? What package? Anita, I've told you where.
on the doorstep? I haven't done anything, Mike.
Tell me.
Well, when I got back from picking the kids up, there was this packet, sort of big envelope on the doorstep. It had your name on it,
Where is it?
in the dining room. I just put it in there.
Where are the kids?
At June's. Why? No, it's not a...
How many times have I told you? Look, we're targets. You pick it up, it could have blown you... bomb squad, please. DI Ball, J Division.
It's money.
Hello? What? Can you hold on, please? Anita?
I steamed it open. It's money.
You bloody fool. Look, sorry about that. A snout of mine heard something from someone who heard something from someone else, you know. I just wondered if you had any intelligence reports for North London. No, nothing solid. Just rumours. Yeah, I will. Ta.
I'm sorry, love. I just didn't think.
Nor did I. Let's have a look. You say money?
Yeah. I don't know how much. It's hundreds, though.
What made you open it?
I'm a fool. I was lying by the milk bottles, and I know what you're always saying. I just picked it up. It felt like paper, so Hey, you're being rather calm about it. My God, how much?
I think you saved me a lot of trouble. 1,000 quid.
Who's it from? Isn't there a note?
You're joking. Thanks, love.
Why? I mean, one minute you're going mad, and next minute you're saying...
Say you'd listen to me.
I'm not full... Oh, you mean rung the station? But who sent it? I don't understand.
It looks like a setup. You ring the Nick, they send the bomb squad, they find the money. What do I say? I don't know.
Oh, but surely...
There's no way I could prove it.
Oh, surely your wife would... No. Some wives don't even know what their husbands earn. Like June.
Exactly. Hey, let's have a drink.
OK. The usual.
No, a cup of tea. I wonder.
You know who sent it?
Well, I could guess. Remember the first time we met?
June's 21st party.
No, the very first time.
That was? The first time? I had to chat you up and you were sick all over my new shoes.
Yeah. No, the coffee bar on Stamford Hill when we were still at school. That was the first time.
You can't count that. Anyway, you fancied my friend Carol.
Never. I was with a bloke, a kid then, Terry.
Oh, the mouthy one. Yeah, I remember. But I still don't see the connection.
I think it was him.
Because you nicked his froth.
Yeah, in a way. Look, I'm not joking. Probably before that, even.
Can you start again, Mike? I'm totally lost.
Terence Richard Marcus, aged 40. Date of birth, 13th of May, 1942.
Well, that's your birthday.
And his. We were mates from as long as I can remember, probably birth. We found out from our mums we were born in the same hospital. So anyway, he's just about the biggest villain in London. Well, North London. Not violent personally, but, well, he just organises.
Why the money?
Well, I'll come to that. I can't give it in now, can I? Or can I? No. And he can't prove I've had it. It could have been nicked from the doorstep. And it wasn't for getting him off. We just forget it. It's all right, love.
Mike, how can we just forget? You've never taken a...
It's not a bribe. It doesn't exist. I just deny it to him or anyone else. We'll feed it into the kid's account monthly so it doesn't show.
Hold on, Mike, why can't you give it back?
Because... Look, it started when we were 10. We nicked a bike. He got caught. Well, nothing much happened. He got a telling off in a juvenile court.
Is that all? 1,000?
No. There's more. That night I met you, the coffee bar. Well, when we left, we broke a window of our headmaster's car and ran off. There was a few quid missing as well.
You stole money? Why?
Well, 25 years ago. Everyone's got... I was broke. That's why we didn't stay in the coffee bar.
Well, you're not saying it was my fault.
No. Of course not. Anyway, he got caught. He tripped over and he got expelled.
And you ran away and left him?
It wasn't like that. It was a sort of code. He didn't tell I had the money. They couldn't prove he nicked it. Anita, I was stupid, but...
Well, surely, shouldn't you have owned up?
Well, maybe, in retrospect. Anyway, I passed my exams and got into the force. He'd got thrown out of school. He sort of drifted.
And do you feel guilty?
Well, not really. He would have been a villain anyway.
And you?
Yeah, probably. You can't catch villains...
Unless you've been one?
Involved is a better word. The lines cross sometimes, you know. Deals, fit-ups, snouts, trade-offs. You know somebody you've collared did a job only you can't prove it. Well, is it immoral to fit them up? Put them away? A thin line. You know someone's used a gun and will do again. Do you wait?
Where does it end, Mike? OK, you stop a potential killer. A young copper sees you doing it. He's on his beat. Some kid gives him the V sign. The copper plants some cannabis on him. Where's the line?
Well, that's different. Don't you understand?
Fine, I understand. Sort of. I still don't see why you can't give the money back.
If I say where I think it comes from, where there's a smell. They'd want to know why. And I've just done a trade with him. He's given me a name for that gold bullion job last month. But it was still stink.
Say you tell them you don't know who sent it.
Then the super has a word with the CIB, you know, the investigation branch. They keep a lookout for me. No, your credibility's gone. They think I thought they were onto me in chicken.
It's all upside down. If you're honest, that makes them think you're bent.
There's something else, Anita. See, way back, Terry nicked a car. I didn't know it was nicked. I was driving, and there was a crash.
You were driving a stolen car. When was this? You've never mentioned this before.
When I was 18. I was in the police. Well, the cadets.
How did it happen? Why didn't they catch you? Was it hushed up?
I legged it. Ran off. I called an ambulance. I was frightened, terrified. And I'd had a couple of drinks. It was our birthday.
Oh, Mike. Why didn't you give yourself... I mean, how could you do it?
On my life, if that car hadn't been nicked, I would have. But he was boasting to the girl that his best mate was a copper and the car was bent. I didn't know.
How can you live with it?
It's always with me. I suppose putting villains away helps. And you've never seen me drink and drive.
A bit late. I'm sorry, Mike. It's just... You're always so...
Straight? Yeah? Yeah, I was a stupid kid. But that would have finished me. My life, my job.
Well, what happened to him? Did they catch him?
Yeah. He got put away. 3 years.
I still don't... Maybe I'm thick. You mean he blames you?
A strange thing, that. But no. He just reckons I owe him.
You do? 3 years of his life.
Anita, I know that. But I saved him at least 5 years today by doing a deal for him.
Come in. Oh, Mike, just been reading about your heroics.
So have I, Gov. Especially the bit about me diving in the river and capturing a dangerous criminal.
What do you mean you did? Well, OK, hardly a dangerous villain, but still.
I tripped over Sergeant Mount and fell overboard. Chummy happened to swim past. I fell on top of him. Great arrest.
They all count, Mike, and we got the bullion back.
Yeah, but no Jimmy Jones. Slimy bastard. I nearly went cross-eyed going through company accounts. Cross-matching, firms taking over firms, stocks, shares, Jersey, Malta, Grand Bahamas. To be honest, Gov, I could have missed something. But by the time that boat had been transferred 16 times, I was lost.
Don't worry, Mike, we'll have him. I'll put in a tip to the fraud squad.
If I ever went bent, that's what I would do. Computer frauds.
I'd say you are already, Inspector.
I beg your pardon, Governor. Is this official?
Yeah, it is. I've just been through your expense dockets. Where's your humour, Mike?
I left it in the Thames, sir.
Oh, Mike, don't forget the dinner dance on the 19th.
Oh, about that, Gov. Me and Anita...
It wouldn't look good with the governors. You missed it last year. They weren't
yes,
impressed.
Gov. We'll be there.
Oh, Mike, re your expenses.
Gov?
When you retire, I'd take up fiction writing. You've got a certain talent.
Good night, Gov.
Good night.
At 6:15 a.m, a green Jaguar pulled into the car park of the pub. Because of information received from our intelligence unit, we allowed the man in the green Jaguar, who I now know to be Winston Otwell, to receive a shotgun and a packet of ammunition. Dave?
Don't tell me if it's about taxi drivers, I've heard it.
How'd you spell ammunition?
How the bloody hell should I know? I'm in traffic.
Great. From Alex Rose. Otwell then drove to a lay-by on the other side of the road. And at 7 a.m, a dark blue Marina...
How did you meet D.I. Ball, Mrs. Ball?
Bill, when you're dancing with a lady who's almost twice your age, try using her first name. It's Anita.
Sorry, Mrs. Anita.
At my cousin's 21st birthday. Mike was about your age. I was a nurse.
Oh, my butt. Lady's a nurse. Well, a student nurse. That's the problem.
She's on a late. Oh, that's why I get the ball.
Oh, no, Mrs. Anita.
I was joking. Can I give you some advice, Phil? Don't ask her to give up.
I know, but we never see one another. Now, when I'm on early, she's on late. Even when we do the same shifts, we're both too tired.
Knackered. I know. You've either got to be up at 6 a.m.
Or we fall asleep watching the telly.
Don't ask her to give up. Let her make the decision. Or you give up.
I might.
Why, Phil?
Oh, I don't know. You see things. You're told to do things that just...
Aren't in the police manual?
Yeah. Not all of them. I mean, like Dion...
Who?
Mike. OK, he's great. He's a terrific cop, you know, but...
Yes, Phil, but... Don't model yourself on anybody. Even Mike. Be your own man. Use your own code.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Anita.
Mike, can we go soon? My feet are bruised. My body's been pinched so many times, it's numb.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, 10 minutes, eh? Hey, watch out. I can see Gates stumbling this way.
Oh, God. I'm for the loo.
There she is, my favourite blonde. Nita, you're not running away from Mike's governor, are you?
Yes, I am. Mr. Gates, would I?
Come on, Anita, let's show him out.
God, you okay? He's out. Jimmy, help me with the super, will you?
Thank you, God. It's frightening. Oh, look at my foot.
Nasty. What's frightening?
The thought of all those drunks driving home. They do, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not fair, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's lovely. Bed. He asked some strange things.
Who?
Gates. Is he married?
He was. Twice. What strange things? About us, you mean? He always tries it on when he's drunk. Usually on the lines of how you poor wives must get lonely with us working nights, and how you should ring him if you want to chat, and he'll pop round.
No. Well, yes, but I ignored that. No. He asked me about Terry Marcus.
Uh-huh. In what way?
If I knew him.
Well, straight out? You didn't say...
No, in a roundabout way. And I didn't say anything. I'm not a fool, you know. He sort of asked how we met. If we kept in touch with your old mates.
And then he dropped Terry's name in very casually.
Yeah. He knew you went to school together. Do you think he's been checking? Or could Terry Marcus have said something?
I doubt whether it came from Terry. I'm more useful to him unconnected. Nah. Gates must have been checking. Did he say anything else?
Yeah, but not connected with Terry. When he'd had a few more, just before he jumped on the table and did the strip act, he said something about he sometimes got more information than his men on the streets who thought they knew it all. Said something about snouts with long noses.
Anita? How far gone was he?
Paralytic.
Now, think carefully. He definitely said snouts with long noses.
Yeah, sure. Mike, couldn't you get another job? Security for a store, or a job like Charlie's got. You know, looking after that casino.
Yeah, great. Charlie's redundant. The casino had their licence taken away.
You don't want to, anyway. I mean, leave the force, do you?
Sometimes I do. Like tonight.
Every man I dance with seemed to be divorced or separated. Except that nice young PC.
Phil? Yeah, he's a good kid. Thanks for tonight, love.
Oh, you mean the information?
No, for being there. And your feet.
And not forgetting my...
It's just coming to that.
Mike, that is not one of my injured parts.
I know, love. Anita.
Yeah?
Do you know, I think I love you more now than when I first met you.
I hope so. I heard what you called me in that coffee bar.
Yeah, I was shy. I meant at June's 21st. There's those eyes. I still get a funny feeling when you look at me like that.
Like what?
Like now. you do look rough. Had a bad night, did we?
Oh, don't shout, Gov. Was it good last night?
Well, you were there.
But only in spirit, Gov. About 2 bottles, I think.
Is the super in?
I did hear a low moan and the rattle of an aspirin bottle. Oh, there was a call for you.
Who? What's this?
No name, no number. He's ringing back. What's what?
This memo. Hello? Yes, son. You got anything?
From upstairs. Crackdown on drinking drivers. They want us to start early for Christmas.
Hold on. I thought we did last night. Right. Okay. I'll see you usual place. Orange juice and a Scotch.
Orange juice? Had a bad night, Mr. Paul?
In more ways than one, yeah. What's the damage?
154, love. Thanks.
Right. Let's go into the corner. Right, Beaky. What you got for me?
Oh, Mr. Bull, that's not fair.
What's your name?
My name's Tom. Anyway, I might have a tasty one for you.
Well?
Wage snatch.
Go on.
A garage.
You're snouting down market. A garage?
The Starlight Garage. It's the head office for all their garages in London. $250,000.
Guns?
Be unusual these days if they weren't.
When and who's putting it together?
Friday. I'm not sure. Well, I've heard a couple of names mentioned.
Friday? You're a bit late, aren't you, Tom?
I've only just heard, Mr. Ball. Well, last night.
Names?
Marcus. Only a whisper, mind you. It could be someone else.
Right. See you, Tom.
Mr. Ball. Mr. Ball. Mr. Ball. Mr. Ball.
Yeah? What do you want?
You're forgetting something, Mr. Ball.
No, I don't pay for second-hand info.
Come on, Mr. Ball. What's that supposed to mean?
I'll tell you what that's supposed to mean, Beaky. You cheap little grass. You've already been paid once by Superintendent Gates.
What? How the hell did you...
A little bird, son. How many times you've done me up before, Beaky?
Let go, Mr. Ball. Please, you're tearing me jacket. First time, honest, Mr. Ball.
Honest? That's a joke, isn't it?
Oh, my mother's life, Mr. Ball. He picked me up on the street day before yesterday. Said he... Anyway, he only gave me a tenner.
Well, son, these desk-bound coppers have lost touch with inflation. I'd have given you a 50. What did he say?
He said not to mention him to you.
You didn't, did you? If we pull this firm, I'll see you all right. How many on their team?
Oh, Mr. Ball. 3. A black bloke called Otwell, a geezer called Alex Rose, and some kid, no name.
Right. We didn't talk about Gates, OK?
Oh, Mr. Ball.
Hello? Hello?
Boathouse by the Lee. Old times, Marcus. 1 hour. Hello, Fred.
Hey?
Long time.
Is it? It's not, is it? Young Mike? Oh, blimey. How are you, son?
Fine. God, dear, your boatyard hasn't changed in 20 years. What a mess. Still, you could hide a lot of stuff under these old boats, like boat engines, 50 horsepower outboards, for instance, Japanese outboards.
Me? Never. Oh, of course I heard you on the old bill. Still, you're a fine one to talk. Times I caught you and your little mate. What was his name? Toby? Ah, Terry. But I never called the law.
You couldn't. We were nicking your bent gear. I see you're still doing well, Fred.
You're joking. I haven't sold a boat in 5 months.
Well, what about that roller parked over there, then? It's all that bent gear.
You must be joking. It ain't mine. Some geezer just left it there.
Well, a chauffeur? On his own?
Not a chauffeur, a small geezer on his Todd, wearing a camel coat.
I'd better give him a clock. I'll be back in a minute, Fred. Put the tea on, will you?
Just like old times. You like my present?
No fishing rods. Present?
The gold job. I was just thinking about that bike we need.
Yeah. Hey, you remember that judge? What did the Tottenham Herald call him? The protector of Tottenham citizens. You know, he resigned last year. He got caught at it in a Leicester Square car scene. The establishment closed ranks. The official version said he'd retired to write his memoirs. It's a joke, isn't it?
Yeah. It was all a joke to you, though, wasn't it, Mike? But then you walked on water.
You were just kids.
Yeah. And I've still got the scars from where my old man strapped me. Great joke.
Yeah, well, you haven't had such a bad life, me old son. I mean, the roller, Savile Row suits, the house, the Gigi's.
You know, old Fred didn't twig who I was. I bet he remembers you, though.
Yeah, he did, actually.
You were a bastard to him. Nicking his telephone money, selling his tea, and then pocketing the change. He treated you like a son. He really did.
Oh, come on, Terry. You've forgotten. He was a right villain. Talk about a con artist. He used us as his alibi. Oh, yeah, Fred's been here all afternoon, Constable. Yeah, certain. And what did he give us? A handful of sweets. You're soft, Terry. You always were. That was always your problem. Oh, and talking of problems, I've got one.
Yeah.
How many does your roller do to the gallon?
Well, don't worry, I can afford it. Why?
I hear you're thinking of going into the petrol business, garages.
Oh, yeah? And?
I don't think it's a good idea. It's a dicey business and you could come a cropper.
In what way?
Staff problems. Sticky fingers in the till, especially on Fridays.
I didn't realise you knew about the garage business.
I like to keep abreast of things. See ya. Oh, by the way, we're even. Even Stevens. No more owing. My debt is paid in full, OK?
Why did you nick that bike?
You mean we? Why? We didn't have one, that's why.
But we never used it. We just come and we looked at it. We couldn't even ride a two-wheeler.
I don't know why. It's 25 years ago.
Ah, but it was a thrill, wasn't it? A turn-on. Like the money from the headmaster's car.
Oh, see ya.
It's funny how things turned out.
Hardly funny. Why did you nick that car?
I didn't have one.
It was to pull a bird.
Yeah, well, it worked, didn't it? I got her.
Look, I'm sorry, Terry. I didn't think.
You still think I stayed with her because I was sorry for her?
No. She was, she was great. Lovely.
You thought she was a slag. You still think that, don't you?
Terry, of course I don't.
Yeah, you make me sick.
Oh, do I? Well, let me tell you something, Terry. I think you're a right Swiss banker. You're like a lump of... Yeah. Yeah, I do think she's a slag. If it had been me, I wouldn't have lumbered myself with that. I'd have walked on, son. If it had been the other way round, I'd have dropped you in it. Right in it.
Yeah, I know. I feel sorry for you.
You feel sorry for me? You've got to be joking.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I pull strokes. I'm no virgin. But I do have some sort of code. I can live with myself. But you're rubbish. You can't even trust yourself.
You're going religious or something.
No, you don't understand, do you? I might be a villain, but I don't con myself. You even lie to yourself. You con yourself that you're this upright sheriff riding the range, a sort of dirty area of North London dispensing justice. You're just a frightened little boy who points his finger to his classmates and he says, "He did it, miss. You're a born villain with no bottle. You took the easy option, the school prefect, then the copper. He did it, miss."
Shut it, Terry.
Or what? You tried it once before when we were about 6. I blacked your eye. You went and you told your mum. She laughed. But if you want to settle it now, I'm quite happy. Just you and me now.
One day, Marcus. But on my terms.
Yeah,
right?
one day. When you've got your team of heavies with you and my back's turned.
As I said before, the debt is paid in full. It's a new game, remember that. Oh, remember me to the slag.
Oh, I will. She always reckoned you were a woofter, you know.
Won't be a minute, Mike. Just in the middle of an important call. Did you? Oh, really? Well, of course I understand. You're a bright lady. No, I mean it. No, I don't think exotic dancers are all... No, really, I think philosophy is a good open university course to do. Look, why don't I pop round this evening? Oh, is he? What time's his flight? OK, about 11. Yes, of course I'll help you choose your books. I'll see you tonight. Tell you, Mike, that bird has the most fantastic...
Intellect?
Yeah, something like that. I met her when we raided that little club in Islington.
Not the one doing rude things while she gave a lecture on Freud. Oh, Governor.
You wanted me?
Oh, right. I just got a tip from a snout of mine. Not the one with the lisp. Sorry, Gov. Oh, seriously, there's a big wages blag planned for Friday. I've typed all the details out.
Ah, right. Any names?
Well, it's only a whisper, but it's possible that Marcus is active on it.
Ah, I see. What, physically?
Well, I doubt it. It's not his M.O., is it? He lets other Wallies do the business while he sits at home. I believe his heavies are Rose and Otwell and one other. You remember Rose?
Yeah, right. Well, you've changed your tune. Marcus was a blue-eyed boy a couple of weeks ago, and now... You knew him, didn't you, when you were kids?
Yeah, that's right, Gov. You remembered. Cool, you've got a great memory, and I thought you were well gone. Can't put one over on you. That was 6 months ago.
Yeah, well, I do. Right, well, let me digest this, then we'll have a briefing. Guns? Oh, stupid question. Guns. OK, see you later, Mike.
Oh, sorry, Gov. Can you sign this chitty?
What's this? 50 notes? What for?
My snout, Gov. This information. A McGarrett's not a lot to pay for top-class gear.
A what?
Steve McGarrett. Hawaii 5-0, the telly-programme. 5-0, 50.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. I still think 50 is a bit heavy. There you go. Why are you smiling like that, Mike?
That bird, Gov, didn't she have a bridge on her teeth?
She's a bright lady.
And she did have enormous intellect, so... Oh, I don't believe this. A police car that won't start. How much do we pay those mechanics? They're all on overtime. Come on, Simpson. Get the bloody thing going.
Well, don't blame me, Gov. Cow son won't start. This motor's always a pig. It's the jinx of the motor pool.
We'll miss the off, Gov.
Is there another car?
No. Ah, she was flooded. The night cowboys got it up the Jacksie while they were getting their Big Macs.
Son.
Sorry, Gov, she just stepped off the pavement.
All cars. Look out for a dark green Jaguar XJ6, license number unknown. Extreme caution when approaching vehicle. Occupants are armed. The vehicle was last seen leaving the Starlight service station, lower...
Come on, let's go. Sirens and lights.
Right.
Looks like a bloody battlefield.
Terry! What's happened?
What a frig up, Gov. They came in 3 separate cars, minute intervals. Started getting petrol, then one of them starts spraying it round the forecourt, while the other 2 pulled shotguns. We couldn't fire because of the petrol. There were civilians all over the place. Some cheap offer. It would have been murder. They got young Phil, Gov. Shotgun blast.
Is he?
I hope so. He's nearly cut in half. We got one of their team over there as he ran to the car. He's dead.
Have we got a name?
Nah, young kid. Checking with a computer now.
Where have they taken Phil?
North Middlesex.
I'll be there.
Doctor? Can I see him?
He's dying.
Well, even more reason. Perhaps I can get the bastard who did it to him.
That's more important to you, isn't it?
No. It just helps my conscience. I can't help him, but I can help his mates who might be next.
It's my turn with the cliches. I'll give you 1 minute. That's what they say on TV, isn't it?
Yeah, just like TV. Only they can wipe the ketchup off and go home. Phil? Phil? Can you hear me, son?
Gov.
Yeah, it's me. I spoke to the doctor. He says you'll be playing football in a couple of weeks.
Gov, I'm frightened. Gov, I don't know.
You're fine, Phil. You and me will be down at the Spurs for the Arsenal game. We'll watch Odd'll take them apart. Hey, Phil, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
It's not your fault, Gov. One bloke. He was big. He did it. The white bloke. He had a tattoo on his arm. A swastika.
We've got a make on him. Relax, Phil.
The black bloke tried to stop him. He told him.
Don't, son. Just try and get some sleep.
No, it's important, Gov. The black bloke said... He said, no shooting, Terry said, no shooting. The third one, the young kid, laughed. Said, Marcus is gone soft. Shoot him.
Phil. Phil. Doctor?
Yes, Inspector?
Well, do something. Please, what are you standing there for?
What do you suggest? A quick miracle? He was dead from the time the shotgun blast hit him. Or he should have been. He fought death for half an hour. I hope it was worth it. He might have lived another hour, but for your questions. No, that isn't.
It wasn't just an hour. I cost him about 70 years.
I'm sorry, Inspector. That was unfair. I'm very sorry.
Dark blue Marina approached us. The car was travelling in a westerly direction. Inspector Ball told the driver to start the engine of our vehicle. We then checked our weapons and did an ammunition count. On instruction from Detective Inspector Ball, we waited until the man known as Otwell started his vehicle and pulled out of the lay-by.
Boy, Simon, you on early Saturday?
Yeah, why?
Want to change shifts?
Why? Oh, not that little WPC again.
Nah, I want to visit me granny. She's in hospital.
You what? Oh, not the WPC, the little night nurse.
Yeah.
Mike?
Why are you sitting in the dark?
I watched the sun go down and I got lost. I heard it on the news. I'm so sorry. He was a lovely kid. I danced with him the other... He was so proud of being a copper.
I'm not.
I'll put the light... Hey, what's wrong? I mean, it's not just...
No, leave the light. It'll make it easier for me.
Mike, your hand's freezing.
I killed that kid. Me. I didn't actually pull the trigger, but...
I posted that £1,000 to Phil's mum.
We're telepathic. You know that? I was going to do it. You didn't put a name...
Oh, even now you're worrying about yourself. No, I didn't. Something to do with Marcus, isn't it? Don't ask me how I know. Call it sixth sense. As soon as I heard it on
I tipped Marcus off that we knew about the blade today. I thought it would stop it, that he'd call it off. But he didn't. So they were waiting for us. Clever bastard sent them in one at a time. It looked like they were getting petrol. One of them sprayed petrol around and the garage was crowded with civilians. We were only half a team.
Why?
Luck. Lady luck. My car wouldn't start. Ted had a prang. His new driver, a Burke. It's a cock-up all round.
You know what I mean. Why did you tell Marcus?
Because I still owed him a last one.
But you said you saved him 5 years last time. You paid him back. The money, that £1,000... Oh, I see now.
No, not that. I didn't tell you the full story about the crash when we were kids. Well, Terry's wife, well, she wasn't then, just a casual. She went through the windscreen and her face... Well, she was... it cut her to ribbons. And we hit somebody. I knocked down an old lady and killed her. He got... for manslaughter. Well, that's what he got 3 years for. He wasn't drunk.
You're as bad
Bad as them. Yeah, I know.
Yes. Oh, no, I don't know. I'm confused. What's the difference? You killed somebody, he killed somebody. Is there a difference?
He was all right then, Terry.
Yeah, because he didn't drop you in it.
No, I didn't mean that. He married Marilyn, the girl, because he felt guilty. She's had so many operations and skin grafts, but she still looks... And he used to send money to the old lady's husband till he died.
Does that ease your conscience, Mike? All of a sudden, you're a stranger. I don't know you. You've got to tell Gates.
I can't go to Gates and say I tipped Terry off. What good would that do? But I've got to do something.
Oh, God. Oh, Mike, surely resign. Tell them and then resign.
Anita, they'll put me away. I can't just resign. Why should I, anyway? All those years for what?
For Phil. And for me.
That sounds like an ultimatum.
A plea. I'm pleading with you. Please. I'll stick by you, even if they...
It's my life, Anita.
And me? What am I?
My wife.
Is that all? Don't I count as a human being, a friend, your best mate? I'm not just Mrs. Bull, your cook, your...
Not now, Anita.
Mike! Oh, what was I when I met you?
21. What do you... Ah, I see. Look, it's different.
It's different because I'm a woman. Our careers don't count, do they? I was a staff nurse. I love my job. But I loved you more.
Look, I never asked you...
No, not directly. You just moaned every time I had a late duty and you were on earlies. How long would you have put up with it?
Look, that's not...
Don't say fair.
I love you, Anita.
Do you? I love you. But that doesn't mean I can stay with you.
It is an ultimatum, isn't it? You or the job.
No. A choice. You've got to choose.
Give me time, love.
Oh, that means no. I'm not even sure you know what love is or means.
It means time.
I'm going to June in the morning with the kids.
You're asking too much.
Too much? Is it too much to want Mike Bull back, the man I married? Not this person he's become. I'd live in a tent with Mike Bull, but not in Buckingham Palace with D.I. Bull.
Morning, Trevor. Anything for me?
The governor wants you, Mike, now. He's been screaming down that phone all morning.
Right. Wish me luck.
Good luck, Gov.
You wanted me, Governor?
Sit down, Bull.
Oh.
The media is slaughtering us. Cowboy cops, one headline said.
Yeah. Gov.
They knew we were coming.
Looks
don't give me that rubbish. Of course they knew. But how? Now, don't say anything. Just listen.
It's muffled, probably handkerchief. No good in court, but I'd bet it was you. CIB recorded that. They think you're in with Marcus. They think he's bought you. I don't. Well, not for Reddy's, not money. Maybe he's got something on you. I don't care.
But, Governor...
I want him. Now, don't say anything. And the other two, Rose and Otwell. Now, you can throw away the book, forget the rules, official or unofficial. I want them away for 10 at least. Do you understand, Detective Inspector Bull?
I understand, sir.
Well, you'd better, because it's you or them, Marcus or you. Last chance, and soon. Now, get out.
Can I have a warrant for Marcus?
An arrest warrant?
No, search.
Oh, you're messing around. Say you find something, that won't get him 10.
I'll finish him, Gov, I promise.
I don't want to know. And remember, CIB are in your ear. You know my views on them. I don't like coppers who grass on other coppers. But they're in this, so...
Milk and sugar, Superintendent Gates?
Thank you, sir. 2, please.
About Bull. I hope you're right. Frankly, I think we had enough on him to suspend him now.
Oh, maybe, sir. I just feel... Well, say the disciplinary board demote him. He's got a good image with the press and good contacts.
Mm-hmm.
He drops a word in some sympathetic ear, then he resigns. It doesn't do us any good. And Marcus is still free. He's a clever bastard, Marcus, I mean.
So, you're suggesting that in the words of the song, you set a thief...
film, sir. You set a thief to catch a thief.
Okay. So we get Marcus, but we've still got the D.I. Bull problem.
I think not, sir. I think D.I. Bull will overstep the mark this time.
You set him up?
Well, me, sir? Put it this way.
You have?
Well, he's not the brightest, is our D.I. Bull. If he had a brain, he'd be dangerous. He's not the most subtle copper in the world. His idea of a painstaking scientific inquiry is to walk up to somebody's front door with a 20-pound sledgehammer and open it by tapping gently.
Point taken. And the chances are the fascist disciplinary board will smack his bum with a feather and tell him to be a good boy.
Exactly. I think the twin problems of Marcus and Bull will cancel one another out. Permanently.
Police. Open up.
Terry? Terry? Yes, sir. It's the law.
Open the door. I've got a warrant to search the premises.
Shall I boot it, Gov?
No. Hang on.
Come in.
You know the rules, Marcus. I won't bother to read them. Here's the warrant.
What's all this about, Inspector?
Sergeant, start upstairs. We're looking for guns and money.
Right, Gov.
Look, can I have a word?
No. Where were you yesterday at approximately 10 a.m.?
With my doctor in Harley Street.
Can you confirm it?
Yeah, of course I can. One phone call.
Number and name.
Mr. George Clark Cohen, 935-1363.
Right. Constable, take Mr. Marcus to his garage and search the car in his presence.
Right,
go. And don't miss anything, all right?
You slag.
Coming from you, Marilyn. That's a compliment. It takes one. Oh, good evening. Could I speak to Mr. Clark Cohen, please? Yes, I know. Sorry. Mr. Cohen? Yeah, I'm a police officer. Detective Inspector Bull. Could you tell me if Mr. Marcus was with you yesterday? Thank you, sir. Yes. Could we confirm this with you tomorrow? We'll need to take a statement. Right, fine. Good night.
You haven't changed.
Hope you have. Now listen, CIB is onto us. Me and Terry. That's why it's this way. Your phone's tapped. Tell Terry to meet me tomorrow, same place. He knows where. Midday.
Why?
You should know that.
Oh, I do. Every time I accidentally look in a mirror. But you remember one thing. I've got a long memory. If anything happens to Terry...
He must have been.
Yeah, he must. He wanted to go straight. He tried. And then there was another operation to pay for, and then another...
That's just an excuse.
Is
you
it?
know that.
Is it? He once told me... Oh, never mind.
What did he tell you?
It was you. His hero, Big Mike. Even that night with the car, he didn't nick that car to impress me. It was you he was showing off to.
As they say in Spain, cojones.
Why do you think Terry never grasped you?
I don't know.
He was proud of you being a copper.
Oh, leave it out, will you?
Once, when he got paralytic, he told me he wanted to be a copper when he was a kid, only he had a record because of you.
Oh, don't give me that crap.
You're so wonderful and honest, Mr. Policeman. Do you think you're any different from Terry? Well, you're not. You're worse. Terry never pretends. You try and kid yourself you're guarding society from Terry, but you're just as bad. You killed somebody with a car and Terry copped it. Look at me. I take a good look. No, don't you look away. You did this to me. Not Terry, you. But he's still paying for it. And I don't just mean money. When I get a downer, I've taken so many overdoses I've lost count.
Marilyn.
Don't you say you're sorry. You just helped Terry. He wants out, you get him out.
Nothing, Gov.
Right. Let's join the gentlemen outside.
Marilyn, what's wrong, love? There's no problem. What is it?
Oh, it's nothing. I was just worried.
What did you say, as if I couldn't guess?
Nothing. He wants a meeting.
What? A meeting?
Don't go, Terry, please. He's up to something.
Yeah. What did he say?
He said he wanted to see you tomorrow, midday.
I don't understand. Where? I mean, why didn't he phone?
I don't know where. He said you'd know. You're not going, please.
But why didn't he phone?
Well, he said our phone was tapped. C something. CI something.
CIB, yeah?
I'm not... Yeah, that's it. Yeah. CIB. What is it?
The investigation branch. A10 in disguise. I wonder...
Yeah, where are you going?
To check the bedrooms. You have a look in the dining room.
What for?
A plant.
What, dope? Cannabis plant?
No, love. Money, guns. It could be a lovely setup.
Oh,
the blokes could have put a gun under the bed. I go out tomorrow to meet him. He raids the house. Surprise, surprise. What have we got here? A gun. You're nicked, Mr. Marcus. Come on. Let's have a look.
Was there anything, Terry? I didn't find anything.
No, nothing. Do you want a drink? Martini?
No. Brandy, please.
Right. There you are.
Oh.
Go on, move over. That's it. Oh. Yeah, come here, give us a cuddle.
Oh, Terry. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, come on, do my shoulders.
Oh, I'm sorry, love. God, you're tense. Go on, relax.
Terry, you're always apologising. Ever since I've known you, you're always saying sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. I've got a lot to be, well, sorry for, haven't I?
Terry. You're a big soft dope, you know that? Here, I've been thinking.
So am I.
Oh, get off, Terry. Look, why don't we go to Spain? The law can't touch us there.
What, you mean buy that gaff in Marbella?
Yeah, we sell the house, the car.
Yeah, but there is a problem. Unfortunately, we have what's known as a cash flow problem.
Oh.
The roller's on the HP and the house is mortgaged. I mean, we've got a few grand, but not enough to retire on.
Oh, what about the Reddies?
Well, I didn't want to bother you, love, but, you know the way I laundered it through the building firm?
It's going great, you said so.
Yeah, it was. We got turned over by a so-called pillar of the establishment, our tame peer of the realm.
I don't believe.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was going to be in the papers next week. He had a passion for three-legged Gigi's. Unfortunately, he used our money. And then that garage shop got screwed up. Why did those thickos have to do their macho number? I mean, I've told them, I always tell them, shoot in the air, no idiot's going to get in your way, but no. And Bull thinks I set his lads up. I mean, I tried to stop them. I phoned every pub, every massage bar in London. I couldn't get hold of those stupid bastards.
Oh, no, love, it's not your fault. You think Bull will try to fit you up?
Well, it is. It's possible. We had words the other day. Strong words.
Me? About me? Oh, he hates me. You know my theory.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I told him.
Oh, Terry. He said you were mad for...
Yeah, staying with you.
Well, I think he's right.
You are the most amazing lady. You're so... special. You are.
Oh, Terry. Come here.
You still think, don't you? You still think it's because I felt sorry for you. Guilty. I mean, I do feel guilty, but that's not the reason I stayed with you, married you.
But I would have grasped Mike.
Question. Did I ever ask you not to?
No, but, well, no, it was never said, but I thought...
When he left us, I mean you, in that car, in that state, I mean, do you think it would have affected our relationship if you told the police the truth?
So why? Why didn't you...
Well, I couldn't. Well, not because it was him. It's so difficult to explain. Well, it was for me. It had to come from him. I couldn't do it.
You know, I'm not very bright. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm thick, I'm ugly, and I'm very expensive. Why did you marry me? I don't... Oh, Terry, I didn't mean to upset you.
Marilyn, come on, love. Why did I get an ulcer in the neck?
What do you mean? The food, you said, the food.
No. It was worrying about you. Whether you wait those 3 years, who you were seeing. I mean, I was jealous.
Jealous of me? You'd want me.
Anybody who'd spend more than 5 minutes with you. You are a funny lady. Come on, let's go to bed.
You, Terry Marcus. I love you so much. If Bull fits you up, if he hurts you, I'll kill him.
Oh, you can't even tread on a spider. You're the gentlest lady I know. I like it that way. Come on, let's go to bed.
I'm not joking, Terry, on my mother's life. If he takes you away from me again, I'll kill him. I'll use the car, knife, anything.
A woman's got to do what a woman's
Terry,
got to do.
I mean it.
Yeah, I think you do. Come on.
You're late.
Yeah. I thought I had a tail.
Look, it wasn't my fault. I told him.
Yeah. My lad told me. Tell said don't shoot.
Yeah.
Just as he died, he told me that. You slag. I warned you off and you still do it and set us up.
Mike, I left messages all over London. It was too late to stop them, and they think that I fitted them up. Grassed on them because you were there.
Good. That makes it easier for the next bit.
What do you mean?
One thing at a time. Point 1, CIB are onto me and you. They think we're in it together. So I'm finished. They never let go, whatever happens. I'll never get promoted. I'll always be a DI. That's the system. Even if I put you away. Point 2, you're finished. Even if you become a monk, they're going to have you. My governor wants your guts. He wants you out of it for at least 10.
Why are you telling me all this?
Point 3, everybody wants Rose and Otwell away. You, me, my governor, even other villains. They're cop killers, agreed?
Yeah, but I still don't understand.
Remember the bike in this shed?
Yeah.
Well, the good old days are back.
What, you and me?
Right. A little job. Well, little stones, actually. £3 million worth uncut. We'll clear 1 million through a laundry.
All right, go on.
You get Otwell and Rose in as the heavies. They've got to be there.
You're joking. They'll think I'm
Not
mad.
if you're involved with a piece in your hand, they won't.
Do I look that stupid? A gun?
If I want you, I can get you any time. I need out. Anita wants out. But Otwell and Rose know too much. They've got to go.
Just supposing I'm in.
1 mile from here, where the North Circular crosses the canal bridge by the pub.
Yeah.
Every Monday morning, a well-known Hatton Garden diamond merchant goes to Stansted Airport, where he collects his uncut stones from an El Al flight. He brings them home with just a driver. He doesn't trust security vans. He reckons the drivers are all bent. Your 2 lads block his car on the bridge. My 2 hold him. You snatch the diamonds and leg it. I chase you. You fall in the river. It's deep there. I run back to the radio. Meanwhile, you jump in the boat your boys have nicked. You come down here to the boatyard, jump in your car, and you're away. With the current by the bridge, it'll take days to search the canal. I'll get my leave to start the following day. Well, that's it. We meet at Heathrow, package deal to Mallorca, then Spanish mainland, and then Brazil.
Yeah, well, it sounds easy. Why me with a gun, Mike?
That's the beauty. You're dead. There'd be no check on airports for you. Even use your own passport. There's no currency control. We'll find the gun with your fingerprints. It proves you're dead, right? It's a doddle, but it's up to you. If it's no, I'll have to fit you up.
This could be the fit.
Then why would I tell you?
Okay. But if it goes wrong this time, I grass. This time, no old pals act. If you fit me up.
Terry. Me fit you up? Come on.
And he bought it, Mike?
Yeah, Gov. Lock, stock and double barrel.
It's a bit iffy.
Yeah, I'm cutting down on risks. We'll have full body armour. None of my lads are ending up in the morgue this time.
Have you spoken to your team?
Yep. They're happy.
What about backup?
We'll seal the North Circular off, ahead and behind. No way out. And some lads in dinghies on the canal. It's beautiful. Too early for commuter traffic and just enough light to see what we're doing.
Or shooting?
Possibly.
I'd rather there were no loose ends.
You mean...
I don't mean anything. I just want a nice, tidy job. No loose ends. No little piles to clean up. I was chatting to the chief super the other day. We discussed your career prospects. He agreed with my assessment.
Oh, right, Gov.
How's my favourite blonde? She well?
She's okay. A bit run down at the moment. Why, Gov?
Oh, nothing. I just tried to get you the other day. I couldn't get an answer all day.
Yeah, well, she's staying with a friend of ours for a few days' rest. If this Marcus thing pans out, I have heard rumours that the super... what's his name? The bald guy. Used to be here.
Oh, Bob Smith, you mean?
That's it, Smith. I heard he was taking early retirement.
Well, you'd find a county posting a bit tame, wouldn't you, Mike?
Well, Nita and the kids, I think it might be good for them.
Well, that's a thought. We'll have another chat after we've sorted the Marcus problem. OK, Mike?
Oh, right, Gov.
Oh, and just one more point, Mike. Do your lads have any special instructions?
How do you mean, Gov?
Well, there's nothing... No written instructions, nothing to talk about in the canteen.
No, Gov. The lads don't need any geeing up. We had a whip round for Phil yesterday. I just stressed in the briefing how dangerous Rose and Otwell were, and they shouldn't take too many chances.
Oh, that's fine. OK, Mike, well done, and good hunting.
Otwell's off. Car's moving.
And Rose. And there's Marcus by the bridge. He's got a gun, Gov, a sawn-off shotgun.
Right. Let's go, Simpson. Remember, don't take any chances. No heroes. Leave Marcus to me.
Armed police. Gov, Marcus is away.
I'll take him. You okay, Simpson?
Yeah, Gov.
Throw down your gun, Terry.
In the river, yeah, I know.
No, on the ground.
What's this, you bastard?
Gun, down now.
You did just set me up again, didn't you?
Nice shotgun, this. 2 barrels. That's handy.
No, Mike, don't!
Would I do that? Here, catch your gun.
Scared the life out of me, then.
You always were, chicken. See you, old pal. Marcus, drop the gun!
Ah!
After checking with PC Simpson that he was unhurt... Simpson?
Yeah?
Did you spew up before or after you radioed in?
Both.
I then heard a gunshot, followed by D.I. Bull calling out. PC Simpson and I ran to the canal path where I saw Marcus pointing the shotgun at D.I. Bull. Then a second shot was fired. Oh, that's wrong. You got a Tipex, Simpson?
Yeah.
Sir. I saw Marcus pointing a shotgun at D.I. Bull. He was holding the shotgun. Governor, was he left-handed or right?
You were there?
Yeah, but I couldn't see too clearly.
Left-handed. You finished yet?
Yeah, just about.
Left, did you say, Gov? Are you sure? I could have sworn it was his right hand when we first saw him by the road.
Left hand. They're all dead, you know. Rose died this morning.
Good job. I then heard a second shot. Marcus fell to the ground. I then told PC Simpson to radio for an ambulance. Hey, Gov, how'd you spell ambulance?
A-M-B-U-L.
I'll get it, June.
If it's the milkman, tell him to leave it till Saturday.
Don't worry, I'll lay out. Mike,
Can I come in?
it's awkward.
I found a fiver. Mike, look, I need to do some shopping. I'll see you later, Anita.
June!
Anita, let me talk to you.
We've got nothing to say.
Please.
Oh. Do you want a coffee?
Yeah, Tom.
What do you want, Mike?
A new start.
It's too late.
What, a week? After 25 years?
I didn't mean the time.
Look, it'll be different now. I've thought about what you said.
You're leaving the force?
No, but I reckon after yesterday's, well, there's a good chance I'll be promoted. I'm thinking of putting in for a transfer, a nice country force. Maybe Devon or Cambridgeshire. No graft, not so much villainy. It'd be good for the kids away from London.
How could you?
Could I what?
You planned it. I know you.
I nearly got killed.
You lying bastard.
I had to. I had no choice.
I gave you a choice. An option a week ago.
It was him or me, no choice.
You're wrong. Not him or you. It was me or you. Or it should have been.
He was responsible for killing young Phil.
No. You killed Phil because you were frightened of Marcus spoiling your career. And you killed Marcus for the same reason. You don't care about anybody except you. What is it that drives you? Power?
I had to. There was no... I just know I love you.
I don't think you've ever loved anybody in your life. I remember your mother once told me when you were...
Oh, that old cow didn't know what love meant. She drove Dad away. She was just an old slag like...
Like me? That's what women are to you. Cheap slags. Do you know, the only time you were ever gentle with me or affectionate was in bed when you wanted it.
Oh, come back, please. I'd change, I promise, Anita.
Mike, I couldn't. And you couldn't. None of us can.
Sit down, Mike. Oh, sorry, I heard about your wife. Happens to us all. Pressures of the job. Any chance of her coming back?
I don't think so. Is there a problem, Gov?
Oh, nothing that can't be sorted, Mike. Mrs. Marcus and her solicitor came in.
Yeah, I heard.
They brought in an envelope.
Not with you.
Oh, you will be. It was dated 15th of May, 1960. A registered letter addressed to Greenaway, the solicitor. It was sealed. He kept it. Well, his office had it in their safe all these years. Sealed.
I think I'd better...
You don't need your brief. It's unofficial. You know what was in this envelope?
I can guess. A letter from Marcus.
Yeah. Saying you were driving a car that killed a woman, that he got charged with it.
No way, I wasn't even...
We can prove you were in the car. There was... Well, here. Have a look for yourself.
My God.
Yeah, your cadet ID card. You see the stains on it and fingerprint? It's blood. His wife's. She held on to it.
What's going to happen?
And this letter, or application, I should say, dated 14th of May 1960 from you, requesting duplicate ID card. You claim it was stolen on the 13th of May 1960. I got it from Hendon.
It doesn't prove anything.
Doesn't prove you were driving, but it proves you were being carried in a stolen car.
I didn't know...
Oh, it doesn't matter now. Here. Sign this.
What is it?
Your letter of resignation.
Yeah, now, wait
No
a minute.
arguments. By the way, I'd change your witnesses' statements to Marcus shooting if I were you, and your mates.
What do you mean?
Statement of Detective Sergeant Mount, page 3. I saw Marcus holding a shotgun in his left hand. Change it.
Why? He was left-handed?
He was is the operative word. When you had your little accident in 1960, not only did Marcus break both legs, a piece of glass cut the tendon of his left hand. He couldn't bend his wrist, let alone curl his fingers round a trigger.
But we can prove it. His fingerprints, he caught it in his left hand, I mean...
Oh, you're not very bright, are you? Look, I couldn't give a toss, but a jury might be interested in how he pulled the trigger with a hand he couldn't use. Lucky for you, somebody smudged the prints, a cock-up. It wasn't to save you. I sometimes wonder how we managed to catch the real villains. Forensic are a joke. His Harley Street doctor was still trying to fix his left wrist, so change it to right hand. Here's the statements. Yours, Simpsons and Mounts. Oh, by the way, all three of you spelt ambulance wrong.
Why, Gov?
There's only one L. Because I'm glad he's out of it for good, and police credibility with the public. We're a bit short on it. So if you got charged with murder, well, detective shoots villain in cold blood. Doesn't do the force any good. We got a fantastic press reaction. Police heroes, etc. The public know Marcus was a big villain. We look good. Why spoil it? The two others, Rose and Otwell, killed a police officer. But you're not getting away with anything. Once the Evvies find out you're an ex-copper and the reason why, they'll catch up with you, with Mrs. Marcus's help. You're not exactly her flavour of the month. Oh, the story the press are putting out is that you're setting up your own security business. That's why you're resigning.
We're all the same. You, me, and the villains. There's no difference. You wanted Marcus away. You knew what was going to happen.
There is one small difference, Mike. I was sitting in the canteen having breakfast while you did it. See ya. Oh, and Mike, drive carefully.
That was Fit Up by Peter Simkin, with Ray Brooks as Terry Marcus and Billy Murray as Mike Bull. Marcus as a boy was played by John Drummond, and as a youth by Martin Phillips. Bull as a boy was played by Joe Sullivan, and as a youth by Richard Hugh. The policeman was Simon Mount, Philip Barnes, Trevor, William Hope, Simpson, Colin Starkey, and Phil, Russell Keith Grant. Superintendent Gates, John Strickland. Chief Superintendent, Beakey, and the Doctor by Douglas Blackwell. Carol was played by Kerry Ann White. Anita by Helena Breck. Young Marilyn, Sarah Doyle. Marilyn as a woman, Carol Boyd. June, Teresa Collard. And Fred, Gilbert Harrison. Other parts were played by members of the cast. Fit Up was directed by Christopher Venning.
A Question of Proof. At Sudeley Hall Preparatory School on Sports Day, the body of Algernon Wyvern Wemyss, nephew of the headmaster, and widely loathed throughout the school, is found dead in a haystack. When the police's suspicions fall on teacher Michael Evans, who has been having an affair with the headmaster's wife, he asks his old friend from Oxford Nigel Strangeways to investigate the real culprit. He has his suspicions, but requires the necessary proof until a second murder is committed during a cricket match.
A Question of Proof by Nicholas Blake, dramatised for radio by Michael Bakewell. The scene is a bedroom in Sudeley Hall Preparatory School. Not one of the airy, green-washed, ostentatiously hygienic dormitories so reassuring to the science-ridden mind of modern parenthood, but one of those bedrooms resembling in its extreme draughtiness nothing so much as a section of corridor in an express train which tradition assigns to dons, schoolmasters, and the lower ranks of domestic servant. The time is 7:30 on the 20th of June, 1934. Michael Evans is holding a razor to his cheek and contemplates himself in the mirror.
Really? Might have done a good deal worse.
You're not Valentino, it's true. On the other hand, you're not a human mouse like poor Sims, or a battered Adonis like Gadsby. Beat a plus face, on the whole. Still, Hero seems to like it. That's the main thing. What on earth is going to become of us? After all, what could be more ludicrous than to be in love with the headmaster's wife?
What's the matter, Percy? Is there something wrong?
The Farley Munsons aren't coming. I was counting on them for a subscription towards the new Fives Court.
And I can't feel any guilt at all. Nor can Hero. In fact, she seems utterly oblivious to the possibility of our being caught out. Oh, blast! There's breakfast. Since it's sports day, we better drape ourselves in the old boy's tie. And can't be too careful about impressing the parents with one's essential old boyhood.
In the hall, the school is busy with breakfast. Gadsby, the common room bore, is absorbed in a very crumpled Daily Mail.
The jury's still out on the Sibley murder. Can't imagine what they've got to argue about. Mind you never really know what a fellow's capable of when there's a woman in the case. Such a self-effacing little chap.
So, when we find you lying in a pool of gore, we'll search Sims for the blunt instrument. You can't get much more self-effacing than Simmy.
Oh, come on, Wrench. Why should I want to murder Gadsby? He hasn't got a wife.
Well, I wouldn't be sure of that.
Well, if a murder's going to be done here, it'll be committed by me, on the person of Weems. Just because he's Percy's nephew, he thinks he can get away with anything. He's got enough low cunning to keep out of trouble himself. But whenever there's a row on, you can bet your bottom dollar he's at the bottom of it.
The boy in question, the Honourable Algernon Wyvern Weems, is in the act of tormenting a slow, fat youth sitting next to him. A boy whose only sin is to be the son of a farmer.
Pack it in, Weems. I've never done you any harm. Go it, Weems. How are the pigs?
But there are others who have their eye on Weems.
Private conclave for the Black Spot in Mody's hut. Password, dead man's chest. But it's sports day. So much the better. They'll never miss us. Tell them it's a matter of life and death.
It is mid-morning, and Michael Evans has a period off. Beneath a conveniently loose brick in the wall of the headmaster's garden, there is a note waiting for him.
I shall be in the 5th Form Hay Castle at lunchtime. Highly imprudent, I know, but I must see you. I must.
The previous day, the boys had built circular castles out of the stooks of hay and had a mock battle. Now, in the 5th Form Hay Castle, hidden from the eyes of the school, Hero is waiting in a green dress.
You're crazy! You'll be asking me to meet you under Percy's study table next.
Do you mind?
Oh, I adore you.
That will do for the moment. I want to eat my lunch. I've made some sandwiches for you, too.
I on honeydew of fed.
No one but you would try to get away with a remark like that.
What explanation have you given to the authorities with this little picnic?
I just told Percy I was going to have my lunch in the sun. He's got used to my fantastic ways by now. Do you know, since I've loved you, I feel much more kindly disposed towards him.
I never understood why you married him in the first place.
Sheer panic. You don't know what a craving women have at times for reassurance and the feeling of firm ground beneath your feet.
Now you're out of your depth again.
But I've got you beside me now. I don't think I'd be a coward again, unless you stopped loving me.
The only problem is, what the hell are we going to do about it?
Look, we've had all this out before. Don't talk about it now.
No. They'll be out from dinner in half an hour, and I've got to be on the field for the 4:40. Sims insists that I take the stopwatch. He forgot to press the button last year.
On your marks. Get set. Go!
The big event of the day was the 440 yards race. Every eye was focused on the runners. It was a great race. Michael, in the appalling days to come, was to remember it as frontline soldiers in the Great War remembered some scene. Cricket on a village green, shire horses standing up against the skyline, which somehow grew to be their vital link with sanity and England.
What a race! Did he beat the record? Yes! By a fifth of a second.
Amazing the way he caught up on the bend.
On the bend? He was leading on the straight. Did you miss the beginning of the race, Wrench?
No, I was gadding about acquiring merit with the parents.
Now, Sports Day has run its course. The Silver Cups have been presented. Percy has entertained the more desirable parents to tea, blithely unaware of the fact that one of the boys has been lying dead for some time, his face hideously blue and his tongue clenched between grinning teeth.
Apparently no one set eyes on the little blighter all afternoon.
Looks as though your little dream may have come true, Griffin.
No such luck. Weems always managed to keep out of trouble. Mark my words, he'll...
Percy wants you all in his study. They found Weems. He's been strangled.
Good God. Where was he?
In the fifth form hay castle.
Isn't it a bit unwise coming in here like this?
Hero, I was not with you at lunchtime. You were alone in the hay castle.
But why?
Don't you see, darling? The police are bound to ask us all where we were. According to the doctor, the murder was probably committed between 1 and 4.
But we can give each other alibis.
Blow the lid off everything.
Oh, I see. You're being chivalrous. Percy's coming.
Promise.
Very well. I'll look out something for you.
Evans. The superintendent, his name is Armstrong, intends to interview all the staff individually. Will you hold yourself in readiness?
Yes, of course. Good night, Mrs. Vale.
Good night.
What did he want?
Some properties for a play he's doing with his form.
This is a most unsuitable time to be thinking about play acting. It has all come as a terrible blow to me, Hero. I've given my whole life to the school, and now this happens. And to a boy to whom I stood in loco parentis, his only close relative.
Nobody can say it was your fault.
That is hardly the point. You know perfectly well that any suspicion of scandal is enough to ruin a place like this, and where shall we be then?
Well, I suppose we shan't starve. We shall be coming into some money now, I take it.
My dear, that was a most uncalled-for remark. I should have expected a little more sympathy from my wife on such an occasion as this.
I'm sorry. I expect I'm a bit overwrought myself.
Yes, it is a difficult time for us all.
Especially since we're under suspicion.
Because of the money? Oh, but surely...
Well, the police will certainly be looking for a motive, and they can hardly ignore the fact that you are Weems's heir.
Now, sir, if you could give me an account of your movements between 1 and 4.
I was in school till 1:45, and taking luncheon in hall till 1:30.
All your staff at lunch, sir?
Yes. No. Evans asked to be excused attendance.
And did he give any reason?
I do not consider it necessary for my staff.
Exactly so, sir. Yes. And then?
I went up to my dressing room to change, and it was time to go and meet the parents.
And when did they begin to arrive?
About 2:15.
You were in your dressing room from 1:45 till 2:15, changing.
Yes? Well, I dare say I lay down and rested for a part of the time.
And is there anyone who can confirm this? His servants, perhaps, or your wife?
This is outrageous. I did not commit this murder, and I was in my room from 1:45 till 2:15. If you do not take my word for the one, you are hardly likely to take it for the other.
No, sir. We can't afford to take people's words in murder cases. If I can't get the information from one person, I can get it from another.
My wife came up to her bedroom a little before 2. It adjoins my dressing room. We spoke a few words through the door.
Thank you, sir. And now I'd like to have a few words with Mrs. Vale.
Oh, no, I wasn't in the hall for lunch. I took some sandwiches out into the hayfield. It seemed a pity to waste such a sunny day.
I take it you didn't see anything of your nephew, Wyvern Weems, or anyone else while you were in the field?
No, I couldn't. You see, I was in one of the hay castles. I'm afraid it was the one where they found him.
Oh, how very distressing for you. Though lucky for us, in a way.
What do you mean by that?
It narrows down the time during which the murder could have been committed. And where did you go after your lunch?
I went back to change. It must have been about 1:45.
And did Mr. Vale go up with you?
Oh, no. He was already in his dressing room.
And now it is the turn of the staff. Tiverton is doing his best to maintain a rather world-weary manner.
Well, really, I'm not my brother's keeper. Griffin had a cigarette in here with me before we went out to check the sports arrangements. I've no idea what Wrench got up to. He wasn't on the field when the first race was run.
Gadsby is hearty and rather too confident.
Matter of fact, I slipped into the village for a quick one. Have to get primed for these social riots.
Quite so. And how quick was the one?
Oh, very good. Well, to tell you the truth, it was quick, all right, but rather more than one.
Yeah.
They keep jolly good beer at the Cock and Feathers.
And Mr. Sims is rather hesitant. An uncertain smile looks out coyly through his reedy moustache.
Oh, dear, I have a hopeless memory for this sort of thing. I came into the common room for a bit. Tiverton was here, I think. And then I changed and went out for a smoke.
Whereabouts did you go?
Along by the hayfield. Griffin must have seen me. He was out on Bigfield.
Wrench sits gripping the arms of his chair. There is a nervous tick in his right eyelid.
Well, after lunch, I went up to my room, lay on my bed for a bit. I was feeling rather seedy. I read for a while, changed, and then went down.
I understand you missed the first race, sir.
No, of course I didn't. I was there on the field talking to one of the parents.
And which parent would that be, sir?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. A tall, blue-eyed chap in a brown suit. He asked me how Tom was getting on. Hadn't an earthly who he was, but I told him Tom was doing fine.
Griffin is ready to lose his temper on the least provocation.
I believe you made a rather threatening remark about the deceased at breakfast, sir.
Good God. If you're going to drag out that kind of rubbish, you'd better arrest every schoolmaster in England on suspicion of murder.
You must realise we have to go into every detail, however trivial. Did you notice anything unusual when you got out onto the field after lunch?
Well, our groundsman must be descended from a long line of village idiots. He'd put out an extra set of hurdles, and when I took him up on it, he actually had the gall to deny all knowledge of it.
Last to be questioned is Michael Evans. He has had no chance to find out what Hero has said.
Now, sir, I am told you were not in school for lunch.
No, I went out into the wood beyond the playing field.
And did you see Mrs. Vale?
No.
Oh, I thought you might have done. She was having lunch in the hayfield. So, you were in the wood from 1:15 to about 2 o'clock?
That's right.
Then how do you account for the fact that this pencil of yours was found in the hay castle where the body was? M.E., yes? These are your initials, aren't they?
Well, you don't know how to account for it unless it dropped out during the hay battle yesterday. I was racking about with the boys a good deal.
Yes.
Very awkward for you, that pencil business. You sure you lost it in the hay battle? I thought I saw you using it this morning. In a detective story, of course, it would have been planted by the killer to throw suspicion on you. And that could only have been done by someone in this place.
What a very unpleasant thought.
Just been taking Simmy along to the Cock and Feathers. He seemed a bit down in the mouth, so I persuaded him to take a dose of Mother's Special.
Very agreeable it was, too.
Mind you, I thought we'd never get there. Simmy saw a yellow-bottomed gorse tit or something, and I had to wait while he stalked it. Talking of birds, where's Wrench tonight? Stalking the fair Rosa, I suppose.
What on earth are you talking about?
You mean to say you haven't noticed her making eyes at him when she's serving dinner? Dirty work at the crossroads, you mark my words.
That's quite uncalled for, Gadsby. Just because some people choose to behave like animals. Disgusting filth.
Speak of the devil.
Is there any coffee left?
Yes, of course, Wrench. Here.
The boys are a bit worked up tonight. Small wonder. I've been putting them to bed.
There you are, Gadsby.
What do you mean, Sims? There you are.
Well, Gadsby thought you were putting Rosa to bed.
Steady on, old man.
You filthy bastard!
Oh! You dirty little...
Oh! Leave him be, Gadsby. You've done enough damage for one night. Your presence is no longer required. Simmy, you Better help me get Wrench to his bedroom.
Yes, of course. Up you come.
Come along.
Oh. Now, what on earth made me say that about Rosa?
Yes, we all seem a bit bedlamite tonight. Time to turn in, I think.
Once again the bell rings out to tell the school that another day is beginning. The shadow of death still hangs over Sudeley Hall, lying heavy as original darkness, darkness that emanates from one of the rooms of the school. But which?
I had a visit from young Evans first thing this morning.
Oh, yes?
He suggested that he should invite a friend of his to investigate the mystery of poor Algernon's murder.
A friend of his?
He is what I believe is called a private inquiry agent. He also happens to be the nephew of the Assistant Commissioner at Scotland Yard.
And what did you say?
I asked him to telephone his friend without delay. I'm by no means happy with the course the inquiry is taking.
Has the superintendent been bothering you about the will?
He has not even touched on it. But I strongly resent members of my staff being held in suspicion.
Whatever do you mean?
He says he found Mr. Evans's pencil in the hay castle where Algernon was murdered. He dropped it there, of course, during the hay rag. But the police seem to be attaching considerable importance to it.
I see.
This friend, Nigel Strangeways, will be arriving by the 12:40. Evans has the last period off and intends to meet him at the station. I thought perhaps you might care to drive him there and bring Mr. Strangeways back.
Yes, that's an excellent idea. It will be good to have somebody on our side. I don't much care for Superintendent Armstrong.
Oh, Mr. Evans. I wonder if I could have a quiet word with you. The morning room is empty, I think.
Of course.
I have to ask you one or two questions which you may find rather distasteful.
Well, you'd better go ahead.
When you were in the woods, did you happen to look over in the direction of the hayfield?
Once or twice.
And did you notice Mrs. Vale there?
No, she was in one of the hay castles, I believe. I couldn't see over the top of them from where I was.
And would you be prepared to swear on oath that, to your knowledge, no one else came into the hayfield while you were in the wood?
Yes, for what it's worth. What on earth are you getting at?
You must understand that what I'm going to say is in strict confidence.
Yes, go on.
The most tenable explanation of the crime so far is that it was committed during lunch by Mrs. Vale, with or without the connivance of her husband.
You must be mad!
It can't have escaped your notice that she has a very strong motive.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen to this.
Look, that's why I asked you if you'd seen anyone else there. Anything that tended to prove that Weems was not in the hay castle with Mrs. Vale would naturally...
Just a minute, Superintendent.
Yes, sir?
Well, you've told me something in confidence. I'm going to make the same request of you. If what I'm going to say tends not to have any bearing on the case, will you promise to keep it to yourself?
Well, sir, that's not an easy thing to promise, but I can assure you that if we solve the problem, we shall not bring forward any evidence that is not strictly necessary to incriminate the murderer.
Very well. I was with Mrs. Vale in the hay castle from 1 to 1:25.
You realise this is a very serious matter, Mr. Evans. You and Mrs. Vale have been obstructing the police in the course of their duty.
I know that, but we couldn't let it be known. Scandal.
Well, the pair of you have led us a pretty dance. But this would certainly seem to let Mrs. Vale out. Of course, sir. I'll have to have a word with her.
I'm so relieved it's all out in the open at last. But what made you change your mind? Why did you tell the superintendent?
No, he forced my hand. He told me he reckoned that you had killed Weems.
But I thought it was you he suspected.
What?
Well, Percy said they found your pencil in the hay castle. And then when the superintendent told me you'd altered your evidence, I thought you'd done it because you'd lost your nerve. Oh, please forgive me. I feel as if I'd just been reprieved and let out of prison. But now I think we'd better tell Percy.
Yes, you're right.
Let's wait a few days, though, till he's got over the shock.
Is he taking it badly?
Rather what you'd expect. The school will be ruined and so on. But we'd better be on our way to the station. We mustn't keep your friend waiting. What
What's he like, this Nigel Strangeways?
Oh, he's a very good stick indeed. We were up at Oxford together, but he couldn't stand the place, so he answered all his mods papers in limericks. The Dons didn't have much taste for modern verse, and he was sent down. He travelled about a bit, settled down to investigate crime. He said it was the only career left which offered scope to good manners and scientific curiosity.
But you still haven't told me what he's really like.
Well, he looks a bit like one of those less successful busts of T. Lawrence and drinks tea at all hours of the day. He's a simple soul, really. He gets on with everyone. He'll even get on with Percy.
More tea, Mr. Strangeways?
Oh, yes, please.
What would you like me to arrange for you? Would it help if I were to call a staff meeting?
Oh, no, nothing like that. I'd like to spend my first day getting the feel of the place. Just wander about, talk to one or two people. Nothing in the least fancy. They'll all have had quite enough questions from the police.
You will, of course, have one great advantage over the superintendent. You will be perceived by the staff to be on our side, and that is half the battle. Feel free to go where you like and talk to whom you please.
Let us follow Strangeways as he steers an erratic, seemingly aimless course about Sudeley Hall. He has breakfasted with the staff. Work has begun.
No, Anstruther. Habeor is not the passive subjunctive, it is the passive indicative. Habear is what I require. Habearis, habeatur, habeamur, habeamini.
The real, genuine old pedagogue, matured in the wood. No, Percy's not passionate enough for murder.
The Mediterranean climate. Warm, wet winters, hot, dry
Gadsby.
summers.
Once upon a time, he'd have been the life and soul of the party. Now he's practically burnt out. The type who might get mixed up in a squalid cream passionnel, perhaps. Gadsby might commit murder out of fright.
Go on, Pongo!
Stop this noise at once!
Concentration.
Sit down, can't you? What's the matter with you?
Please, sir. Pongo's lizard has escaped. Look out! It's going up your trouser leg.
Lord Sims. Sounds more like a witch's Sabbath. Oh, Lord, here comes Percy.
The whole form will stay in this afternoon and write lines. Stevens and Ponsonby will come to my study at 12:45. Mr. Sims, a word with you, if you please.
Poor devil, no one gives him a chance.
Never in my life have I seen such a lamentable exhibition of incompetence. You just let them run all over you. Haven't you got an atom of self-respect?
My hat, if anyone spoke to me like that, I'd break his head. Poor old Sims is too downtrodden even to whimper.
The only law he knew was the law of the axe. Thomas More, Thomas Cromwell, and Wolsey only escaped by taking refuge. Where, Bartlett?
Griffin's having a whale of a time.
Me, sir.
If he's a murderer, I'll eat my hat and join the nudists.
Now copy this. 2 bracket X
Tiverton only manages to keep order by incessant nervous effort. No real sympathy between him and the boys. A murderer? On the surface, he seems too spinsterish and fond of his own comforts. But you can never be sure with a type like that.
Right, Jenkins. You're going to be Mark Antony, and the rest of you are going to be the mob.
Now, Wrench has something like a genius for teaching. He's got brains. Brains enough to plan and carry off a murder. Suppose there was something that threatened to ruin his career. And supposing that Weems knew about it.
Ah, so that's where you got to. Mr. Strangeways. Making any progress?
It's a bit soon for that, I'm afraid, Superintendent. I'm just taking a look round.
If it's not too much trouble, sir, perhaps we might have a little chat. Compare notes, so to speak.
An admirable idea. Why don't we pool the facts, but keep our theories to ourselves for the time being? There's no one in the morning room. I'll get them to send us a pot of tea, and you can bring me up to date.
And so, as I'm sure you can see for yourself, sir, the facts are all pointing in one direction.
Mrs. Vale and Michael Evans.
Oh, I wouldn't have expected you to agree so readily.
Well, why not?
Evans is a good friend of mine, but I shan't help him by shutting my eyes to all the evidence against him. From what you say, the most likely time for the murder to have been committed is between 1 and 1:30, when everyone's movements are accounted for, except those of Evans and Mrs. Vale, who admit they were actually on the spot where the body was found.
Well, that's it, sir. Obviously, the boy blundered in on them, and they had to shut him up.
A defence counsel might come up with 1 or 2 queries, you know.
Oh, yes.
It seems most unlikely that a murderer would admit from the beginning having been on the spot where the murder was committed. One would expect them either to have cooked up an alibi or dumped the body somewhere else.
It might be a kind of bluff to sidetrack suspicion by putting themselves in the most obviously suspicious position from the start.
It might. It has been done. Anyway, my second point is this. Supposing the murder had been done from the motive you suggest, it's unnatural that a murderer should be so easily induced to betray his motive. One doesn't give up one's key position without making a fight for it.
Yeah, I take your point, sir. But I must be getting on. I can see you don't need any advice from me. But there is one line I'd like to suggest. I haven't been able to get much out of any of the boys.
Nasty little snobs, I bet.
That's just it, sir. But I reckon that the boys are the only ones who might give us a line on
what it was that made Weems conceal himself so successfully till the murderer was at liberty to finish him off for good.
Oh, you know, Mr. Strangeways, either you're a mind reader or you ought to be running this case instead of me.
Another cup of tea?
No, thanks all the same. I'll better be on my way.
So, how's it all going?
Nothing very discernible. Tell me, how's your husband feeling about things now?
Oh, nothing's changed. The bottom of his world has been knocked out, but I expect he'll grow a new one soon enough. Unless the parents start removing their boys.
But surely...
You think I'm being too flippant, that I ought to be more concerned about him. Don't you realise that Percy means nothing to me now? I love Michael, and I don't care what happens so long as he is happy.
I understand all that. I know that you love Michael, and that no one could make him so happy as you. But I imagine your husband meaning nothing to you is more of a wish than a fact. You can't live with a person for several years without forming some sort of a relationship. And personal relationships don't just vanish into thin air. The truth is, you're angry with yourself for not being able to break the ties between yourself and your husband.
Yes, you're right. It's terrible. It's like a nightmare. There is Michael stretching out his hands to me, wanting me so badly, and I try to run to him, and it's like running through deep sand. Do the police still suspect him?
I'm afraid they still suspect both of you. You see, the case against you is the only possible one that can be built on the facts the superintendent has got so far.
But you don't think we did it?
No, I don't.
But how can you be so sure?
Oh, I'm not really a very good detective, you know. If I was the proper inhuman, cold-blooded scientific sleuth, you'd be top of my list. But I'd rather believe my friends than the facts.
You are nice. But where do you go from here? How are you going to find something that will get us off the hook?
Oh, I'm not quite sure yet. Just at the moment, I'm trying to find the answer to a question that keeps on nagging at me.
Why did Weems hide himself away? Ah, well, as it happens, I might be able to point you in the right direction.
How's that?
Well, I had a visit from the head prefect at lunchtime. It was you he wanted, really, but I said I'd pass the message on. Now, apparently, on the morning of the murder, there was some talk among the boys of taking a strong line with Weems.
You mean giving him a hiding?
Yes, something of the sort. Now, the boy could hardly take a hand in it himself, so he passed the job on to his younger brother. Now, he runs a secret society that calls itself the Black Spot. I mean, he wasn't suggesting they'd killed him, of course, but they may be able to tell you why Weems went into hiding.
It's rather difficult, you see. It's the secret of the Black Spot.
Yes, tricky.
So we thought, if you could become a member of the Black Spot yourself...
It would be a great honour.
The trouble is that everyone has to pass a test before we allow them in.
Well, couldn't I do that?
We make you do rather funny things. I mean, it's all very well for boys, but I don't think it would do for grown-ups.
I'd be prepared to give it a go.
Would you, sir? We'll work it out tonight. We have to make up different tests for each new candidate, you see. Somebody will slip a note into your hand at breakfast tomorrow.
Ye must perform the following exploits by 2 p.m. today. 1. Chalk a white moustache on the nymph of the drinking fountain in Sudeley. 2. Ask Higgins to show you his famous scales. 3. Remove 1 rabbit trap from the estate of Lord Edgeworth. Burn this paper.
And did you manage it all?
I thought I was bound to end up either in jail or the county asylum, but I could never resist an adventure. I found the Sudeley nymph easily enough, and chalked a positive walrus of a moustache on her fair features.
Sherlock Holmes never had to do things like that. And what was so remarkable about Higgins's famous scales?
They're doctored to give short measure. I was lucky to get away with my life.
And the rabbit trap?
The whole place was positively swarming with gamekeepers, but I managed to grab a nasty-looking Lucifer without being spotted. And then, as I was creeping back to the road, I heard voices a little way ahead of me.
There's nothing to be frightened about, Rosa. Keep your mouth shut and we'll be as safe as houses.
I can't help it. That Armstrong frightens me. I know he'll make me tell him.
I'll wring your pretty neck if you do. You'll ruin me if you're not careful. We don't say a word unless they begin to suspect us of the other thing.
I don't think you care for me a bit.
Oh.
All you're concerned about is your pathetic reputation. What about me? I should never have let
Oh, come off it, Rosa. Anybody would think you were a poor little innocent.
And at that point I trod on a twig, which snapped like a gun going off, and they bolted like a couple of startled deer.
What do you suppose he meant by the other thing? The murder?
It sounded like it.
Do you think Wrench did it?
It's quite possible. I think I might have a little word with Armstrong. At least it'll give him something else to think about.
Other than Michael and me, do you mean?
Yes. But I must be off. Time for my initiation into the Black Spot.
Do you swear, on pain of death, never to reveal the secrets of our society to any living soul?
I do so swear.
Then, by the powers invested in me, I declare you to be a member of the Black Spot.
Oh.
Don't worry, sir. It will easily wash off.
So, what is it that you have to tell me?
Well, you see, it's about the day that Weems was murdered. We'd arranged to meet after lunch in Mouldy's hut to transact important society business.
About giving Weems what for?
And then we head back to school to get changed.
Yes?
That's all.
That's all?
You see, we thought we ought to tell you, because the policeman had asked if anyone had been outside after lunch, and we couldn't tell him because it was a black spot and deadly secret.
And you didn't see Weems while you were out?
No, sir. I'm afraid we haven't been much help.
I suppose Weems wasn't a member of the Black Spot.
I should jolly well say not. The slimy little chizzer.
Might he have thought he had a chance of being elected?
Oh, I should think so. He was sidey enough.
Would he have known about the tests and all that?
Probably. It's supposed to be a secret, but most of the school know the sort of things we do.
And what kind of tests have you set?
Altering the school clock, pinching the porter's bell.
Stevens had a jolly nippy idea for one last term. He was going to tell a chap to disappear for 2 hours. He could go anywhere he liked in the school or in the grounds, but he mustn't be seen.
Only it didn't come off. We were passing the note along to the chap when the master saw us and confiscated it.
And did he make a fuss about it? Or did he tear it up without reading it?
He was jolly decent about it. We didn't see him tear it up, but he couldn't report it to Percy, or we should have got tanned.
And who was the master?
Simmy. He's no bad sort of beater at all. If he wasn't such an absolute ass.
Oh, bless my soul. However did you get to hear of that? Yes, it was some nonsense about a secret society, telling someone he was to disappear. I'd gotta see what you're driving at. You mean one of the boys sent a similar note to poor Weems? Oh, but I can't believe that one of them...
What did you do with the note?
We destroyed it.
We?
I showed it to Wrench, and Gadsby and Tiverton both took a look at it. So did Evans. It was he who suggested that we shouldn't let the matter go any further.
And why was that?
Something about secret societies being a sign of inventiveness. He knows a great deal about boys, but then he is so popular with them. Somehow I never seem to have got the knack of it.
So the murderer writes to Weems, telling him that to qualify for the Black Spot he's got to disappear for 2 hours. But if he decided to hide in the Hay Castle, well, how come he didn't come across us?
I rather think he might have been given another test. practical joke, perhaps.
Oh, like putting out that extra set of hurdles. I mean, Mouldy swore blind he didn't do it.
That would certainly fit the bill. And the only time he could safely have done that was between 1 and 1:30, while you and Hero were in the Hay Castle. Mind you, this hasn't cut much ice with the superintendent, and the fact that you were the one who said that the note ought to be hushed up hasn't exactly helped matters.
What about Wrench and Rosa?
Oh, that was a very grisly business. He insisted on dragging me along with him. It's just as well the rack and the thumbscrew have gone out of fashion.
You know, a spell in prison wouldn't do you any harm, young lady.
What do you mean? What am I supposed to have done now?
Just a little matter of giving false evidence.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You still maintain that you were alone in your room that day from 2 to 2:30.
Yes, I was. That's what I said.
Looks pretty bad for Mr. Wrench, then.
Why?
Well, if he wasn't in your room, I can make a pretty good guess what he was up to.
But he was in my room.
So why did you say he wasn't?
Because he told me not to admit it
Unless we suspected him of having something to do with the murder. Is that it?
And Wrench came in for much the same kind of treatment.
Poor devil.
But now I want to ask you a few questions.
Far away.
How did you and Hero arrange your meetings? Word of mouth?
Sometimes, but lately she took to putting notes under a loose brick in the garden wall.
And did you never miss any of them?
Well, as far as I know. What are you getting at?
Well, what's been bugging me all along is why the murderer chose to stage his act in your Hay Castle. I don't like it. He's not just clever, he's...
You mean you know who he is?
I think I do. But I don't know how I'm going to make it stick. It's a question of proof. Well, that's a good title for a detective story, if you ever write one. And I haven't got enough proof to fill an acorn.
Time I was off. Percy's called a council of war about the parents' match.
You mean he's going ahead with it?
Oh, yes. Gives him a chance to demonstrate his business-as-usual spirit. You know, backs to the wall, bulldog breed, never say die.
It is late afternoon, and the parents' match is heading for a regular school story finale. The parents have scored 203, despite the vicar's sporting gesture of allowing himself to be stumped. Now the school score is creeping up and up.
197 for 9. 6 to draw, 7 to win. It's going to be a very close finish.
4!
2 to draw, 3 to win.
A bye. They're running for their lives. 2. And another. He'll never do it. He's made it! Oh, we've won, Percy, we've won! What is it? What's the matter? Percy! Oh, my God!
What's happened?
Hero, what is it?
Mrs. Vale has fainted.
Somebody run and get her some water. I'll go.
What on earth's happened? It looks very much as if Mr. Vale has been murdered.
Oh, stripes.
Good God!
Was that Mr. Evans running off?
He went to get some water.
I think Mr. Vale is dead.
Pass me that megaphone, if you please. Ladies and gentlemen, no one is to leave the field. Mr. Vale has met with an accident.
Try to drink a little, darling.
Thank you.
Now, madam, I am very sorry to trouble you, but the sooner I get all the facts, the quicker we shall find whoever did this.
Percy spoke to me just before the last over. When we won the match, I turned to him. I thought he must have gone to sleep. I touched his arm, and he fell off the seat.
Just try to keep calm, darling.
Did any of you touch the body before I came over?
Tiverton and I turned him over to see if...
We saw that he'd been stabbed.
Which of you removed the weapon? I mean, don't you know that you must never...
we didn't. There was no weapon there. Nothing at all.
Sergeant, no one is to leave here till they've been searched. You better get hold of a police matron for the ladies.
You took a long time getting that glass of water, Mr. Evans.
No longer that I can help.
Where did you go for it?
My bedroom.
Do you mean to tell me there's no tap nearer than that?
No, there are lots, but no glasses.
I see. I must ask you not to return to your room until I give you permission. Is that understood?
Perfectly understood, Superintendent.
Well, this fair beats me, Mr. Strangeways. The field, the marquee, the pavilion, the path to the school, and the school itself. We've been over the whole caboodle with a fine-tooth comb, searched every man and woman who was on the field, and not even a smell of that dagger.
We ought to have found out if anyone here's a sword swallower.
Oh. Well, it's as plain as my foot, or should be. Mrs. Vale carried the stiletto in her clothing, waits until everyone's eyes are glued on the game, and then stabs her husband in the back. She gives him a push and pretends to faint. Evans comes rushing up, cuddles her a bit, and she passes the weapon to him. He puts it inside his coat, goes off for the water, and hides it somewhere in the school. Oh, damn it, it must be right. There's obviously some hiding place that we've missed. We'll have another look for the weapon tomorrow morning, and if I find it, I shall arrest them both.
But where's the motive? On your theory, Evans murdered Weems to prevent his affair with Mrs. Vale coming to light. Well, that seemed thin enough. But why murder Vale? She'd only to ask him for a divorce, surely.
No, sir, that's not the case. I happened to be passing the dining room the other evening, and I heard Mrs. Vale telling Evans that her husband would never divorce her, even if she could bring herself to ask him.
Happened is good.
Yes, well, you surely wouldn't deny there's a strong connection between the two murders?
Oh, far from it. I suggest there's even more connection than meets your eye. And, incidentally, I'm prepared to lay 20 to 1 that you find the murder weapon in Michael Evans' room tomorrow.
It is exactly a week since Weems was strangled in the hay castle where Michael and Hero made love. It is to be a terrible day for them, an exciting day for Superintendent Armstrong and for more than one of the staff, a day notable for perhaps the only triumph in the drab life of Hugo Sims, and quite a remarkably busy day for Nigel Strangeways.
The fire alarm. It's a whopping great bell outside number 1 dormitory. When it rings, everyone, including the masters, has to hair out of the school and form up in the yard. We made someone ring it once as a test for the black spot, and there was a frightful row.
I suppose it wouldn't be possible for it to be rung today.
Oh, yes, sir, I'll do it.
Don't worry if anyone catches you. I'll see it's all right.
Thank you, sir. There's something I've got to tell you. It's about Smithers.
That fat boy who everybody rags?
Yes. Pongo and I thought he was getting a bit out of hand, so we rescued him from a bit of bear baiting. He was ever so grateful. He knows we've been talking to you, and he said there's something important he had to tell you. About Weems.
You were quite right, Mr. Strangeways. There it was all the time in Mr. Evans' room, resting on top of the picture rail. I can't imagine how my sergeant failed to notice it.
Seems to have lost its handle. Nasty-looking thing. Just a thin piece of steel filed to a point.
A very efficient tool for the job. And I've got the warrant here. I'm going to arrest the two of them now and get it over with.
Before you do that, I'd like you to see a boy called Smithers. He's come up with a rather interesting piece of information. But you must promise not to bully him. He's very sensitive, even if he doesn't look it.
Come, sir, you know I never bully witnesses.
Good. I just want you to sit quietly and hear what he's got to say.
It was the day Weems got killed. I had to go up to Mr. Wrench's room just before the sports started. I got some lines to hand in, but he wasn't there, so I waited a minute or two.
And then?
I went and looked out of the window. You can see the hayfield from there, and I saw Weems in the hay castle.
So, what about it? We all know he was there then. He'd just been murdered.
Oh, no, sir. He waved to me.
He what?
Don't worry, Smithers. Mr. Armstrong is just a little surprised, that's all. Carry on.
Weems was sitting up against the wall of the hay castle, and he waved his hand.
And what time did you say this was?
Nearly 2:30, sir. I only just got on the field in time for the first race.
Thank you, Smithers. You can cut along now.
Thank you, sir.
You realise what this means, don't you? We've got to start the whole blasted thing all over again.
Yes, you've got a jolly morning in front of you. Are you still going to arrest Evans and Mrs. Vale?
I think we might hold that in abeyance.
You know, I'd rather you arrested them. It would put the murderer off his guard and prevent him from doing anybody else in. After all, it can't do any harm.
What the devil's that?
It's just the fire alarm. Means everyone's got to get out. Go and stimulate the panic. There's a good chap. I need the school to myself for a few minutes.
Well, so you've had your 5 minutes worth. Did you find what you were after?
I don't know yet. I'll tell you when I've had a chance to look at it.
I'm going to have another look for the handle of that stiletto. Now, it can't just have vanished into thin air. It's just a matter of pegging away at it. That's how mysteries are solved.
Pegging away? Oh, my holy heavens, what abysmal asses we are! Tent pegs! Have they taken the marquee away yet?
Well, first thing this morning. Well, I didn't see any reason why they
Just as
should.
well it hasn't rained overnight. The evidence should still be there.
What exactly is it you're looking for?
I reckon this is it. This hole goes in deeper than the others. Have you got the stiletto that killed Vale?
Yeah.
Thanks. There. You see? It fits perfectly. What the murderer did was to put a wooden top on it so that it looked like a tent peg.
You mean it was stuck there in the ground all the time we were turning everything and everyone inside out?
You'd hardly have noticed it in the middle of all those real tent pegs, all pulling their weight and looking perfectly respectable.
So the murderer only had to stand near Mr. Vale, pull the weapon out of the ground, stick it into Mr. Vale and put it back. Who arranged the seating?
Tiverton.
And Tiverton stopped umpiring at the tea interval. And he was the first to be seen bending over the body.
Gadsby was close by. So was Sims.
And we still can't rule out Mrs. Vale. But I reckon you know which of them it was, don't you?
I think I do. But I've got to be sure. I want to stage a reconstruction of the first murder.
But I thought they'd got it all tied up. They've arrested Evans and Mrs. Vale.
It's just a blind, is it? Their arrest?
They couldn't possibly have done it. It's quite out of the question.
The police have got a very strong case against them, I'm afraid. They never take action unless they have to, you know.
But what do you hope to get out of this reconstruction? Is it going to be some kind of Hamlet stunt with the real murderer rushing off and calling for lights and so on?
I just want to get everyone's position clear. There is a chance something may turn up we've overlooked.
Are the boys going to take part?
No, that won't be necessary.
Which means that you suspect one of us in this room to be the murderer.
There is no doubt that the murderer was fully cognizant of the workings of the school. I can't go further than that at present.
Are you rather frightened of rubbing shoulders all day with a murderer? I wonder he doesn't have a go at you.
I can't say I'm terribly frightened, though I must admit I keep a revolver under my pillow.
2 o'clock. Just about this time last week, one of us was getting ready to commit a murder.
For God's sake, Wrench, try to behave like a normal human being and not a Greek chorus.
Right. May I ask you to go through exactly the same actions as you did last Wednesday? Oh, could you let me have the stopwatch, Griffin?
Yeah, righto.
And could I have a word with you, Sims?
Of course.
The scene is set. A group of deck chairs has been arranged to represent the hay castle. Griffin has called Mouldy to task about a row of imaginary hurdles. Nigel Strangeways, who seems to have only half his mind on the proceedings, is pulling a medium-sized exercise book out of his pocket.
You're looking bored, Superintendent.
Oh.
How about a little light reading? You'll find a full account of both murders in here. Don't read it just yet. The full 40 yards race is about to start.
On your marks. Get set. Go!
The white oval on the turf, the runners falling into line at the first bend. They came back out of the past, those sunny images, holding in their spell the inward eye of the watchers. Then the spell was broken. Sims, looking like an undersized popular preacher, has his hands on one of the deck chairs where the hay castle had been.
It was quite easy, you know. Everyone was so intent on the race, the murderer had only to walk into the hay castle, strangle his victim, and walk out again. It was the same at the cricket match. One of the tent pegs was really a dagger, you see. He had only to wait until everyone's attention was focused on the last over, pull out the dagger, plunge it into Percy, and put it back again in the earth.
What is he talking about?
You are doubtless eager to hear who the murderer was. To evolve such a scheme required brilliance, and to carry it out, nerve and resolution beyond the capacity of most men. But there was someone you'd always overlooked, someone you thought incapable of such nerve and resolution. And he did something none of you would have dared to do. You see, gentlemen, I killed Weems, and I killed Vale. I hated them, and I killed them, right in front of your noses. And that is all I have to say, apart from one significant gesture of farewell.
Hate. Just as in the celebrated Cain Abel case. And not just hate of Weems and Vale.
You mean of the two of us?
Why? I may have thought he was pretty pathetic, but I was no worse than anyone else.
Oh, no, it wasn't that.
Well, then what?
I suspect Sims may have been descended from a long line of hellfire preachers. You see, he happened to see you and Hero making love, and he took to watching the pair of you at every opportunity. He kept whipping up his Puritan blood, till in the end he believed himself an instrument of God to punish the sinner. That's why he tried to throw the guilt of his murders onto you.
But how could he have spied on us? We may have been a bit rash, but we weren't as blatant as all that.
It's all in his diary. I'll read you a bit of it.
May the 9th, in Batford Woods. Chiff-chaff, willow warbler, whitethroat, all in full song. Evans and his whore there again. The serpent of sin in the garden. Wanton. Filthy.
Bird watching. He used field glasses, of course.
But what put you on his track?
A little outburst Michael told me about. When Sims came back from having a drink with Gadsby and heard about Wrench stalking the fair Rosa.
That's because some people choose to behave like animals. Disgusting filth.
So Weems had to be killed in the place where the pair of you had been making love.
God.
But I still had to find a motive for Sims choosing him as his victim. I must admit that he had me beaten until I read the diary.
June the 12th. In form today, Weems played a vicious and unpardonable joke on me. And then everything suddenly became clear. The boy has a devil in him which contaminates all around him. I know what I have to do. Kill and spare not, saith the Lord.
Good God. But how did he know we were going to be in that hay castle?
He'd been keeping a close eye on you, and he read your note to Michael. So he sent the black spot letter to Weems, telling him to hide in the hay castle from 2 o'clock onwards.
Oh, quite childishly simple, really.
But why did he have to kill poor Percy? What harm had he done him?
I must confess, I ought to have been able to stop that. The motive had been right under my nose. I'd heard Vale giving Sims the most terrific taking off. He'd been browbeating and patronising him for years, and suddenly Sims boiled over. But he might never have gone to the length of murdering your husband if it hadn't suggested to him another magnificent way of incriminating the pair of you. Yes, he really struck the top of his form there.
So glad you enjoyed it. How did you know about this diary of his?
I didn't for certain. I came into the common room once, and I saw him writing something in an exercise book. He didn't see me, and then I noticed he either carried it about with him or kept it stowed away in his common room locker. The moment I looked at it, I knew that I'd won. I substituted another exercise book. He didn't even miss it till I told him I'd read it.
You told him?
Oh, yes. I made it clear that all was up. He knew where I kept my revolver, so I left him to it. Although I didn't expect him to put on a farewell performance at the scene of the crime. I'd left only one shot in the revolver, and it looked at one point as if he might fire it into me. But fortunately, he reenacted his part and had his crowded hour of glorious life. And here we all are.
Well, you've certainly got a nerve.
I don't know how we begin to thank you.
Well, a pot of tea would be a good start.
The part of Nigel Strangeways was played by Philip Franks, Michael Evans by Peter Aker, Hero by Emma Gregory, and Superintendent Armstrong by Struan Roger. Sims, Philip Fox. Percy Vale, David Collings. Tiverton, Geoffrey Beavers. Gadsby, Steve Hodson. Griffin, Jonathan Guy Lewis. Wrench, Colin Tierney. Rosa, Rosanna Mason. Stevens, Edmund Singer King-Smith. Ponsonby, Patrick Liddicote. Smithers, Daniel Draper, and boys from Hurstpierpoint College. The narrator was Gerard Murphy. Nicholas Blake's A Question of Proof, dramatised by Michael Bakewell and directed by Jane Morgan,